Right, we are leading with green, the last color we have here.
Yeah. Yeah. I just told them that you don't shower basically.
What can you do?
Yeah.
It's a living.
Okay. First card. Arachnoid adaptation. Green. For an instant, target creature gets +2/+2 and gains reach until end of turn. Untap it. That is a great Magic the Gathering card with on 1 mana. When it's 1 mana.
It's always two.
Yes, this card has been printed at 2 mana. This exact same card, for example, Shadows Sovereign is not remastered right now, and it's pretty clunky. It's not like it's still unplayable. Like it has still, but some things going for it. It's like a D level card. This for 1 mana is extremely spicy.
Yeah.
You get this like 1 mana combat tricks are kind of always with like toughness and power boost. They're always at least fine to good on attacks already, and you can basically ambush pretty much anything with this trick if you need to. Yeah, basically, and your opponent kind of if you're like holding up only 1 green, and your opponent is playing something like white, let's say. Even if I was playing like white and my opponent was holding up a green mana, I don't think most of the time in that scenario you can play around adaptation. Like you will, and what I'm getting by this is that like you will play your backup creature pre-combat or something, and then your opponent is just gonna eat it, and you have no way to respond because you used your mana. I guess if you are suspecting they have this, you're less likely to use the backup creature pre-combat, but sometimes you still have to do it. If you at least if you have okay attacks without doing that, like maybe you have a combat trick yourself or something. Um, Battles are also something you wanna cast main one. I guess especially battles, even more so than backup,
Yeah.
because if you attack with your things and you leave yourself pretty open to attacks, your opponent is very incentivized to play their battle and try to flip it. And now you just get to eat a creature, and your opponent gets like is really far behind. And yeah, like I said, this is pretty good in offense anyway.
What's your
But
grade?
it's actually kind of great on defense.
I'm very interested.
Me too, because I haven't decided yet.
Yeah, you're talking a lot about it. You didn't even mention the grade.
No, yeah, because I haven't decided. I'm between C plus and a B minus. That
Oh.
much I can tell. I'm gonna go hot. I'm gonna say B minus.
I'm gonna go on a C, and that's like super high for tricks for me.
Yeah, I don't think.
I mean,
That's
for
high
me,
for
it's not like we take tricks very differently, I think, but
Yeah, the weird thing is I never understood why you like rated good tricks lower than me. Like because when I watch you, we basically take them at the same time as me, and like you can't because you don't really overload on good tricks because there aren't enough good tricks to overload. Maybe in white green in this set, but like I'm fine playing 3, 4 of these, and that's like impossible. It's almost impossible to overload. If the max you play is 3 of a common, let's say, it's basically or you should almost never consider about overloading on them. Even if the max you will play is 2, it's still like you shouldn't really consider it much.
yeah, but I still pick it like a C because I'm basically always picking good, like C plus 2 drops over the tricks. And
Yeah, I'm not picking. Yeah. I'm picking this over good 2 drops.
yeah, so I'm just because the tricks come back, right? And there is a point on overload, like having like 3 tricks very early, and all of a sudden, a lot of tricks that you're maybe gonna get on late picks, you don't really care about taking them, and those would be like free extra picks for you. And even though,
Yeah, I think there is just a huge difference between okay tricks and good tricks.
yeah,
Like even if I have 0 other tricks, I don't want to play the okay tricks, and I'm kind of as happy playing as many as I can get of the good tricks.
and tricks kind of come up late, a lot,
Yeah,
like
they are underrated often a lot.
even
But
good tricks. So that's also makes it like why I pick them lower.
yeah,
I mean, we pick them at a similar time. We
yeah,
rarely
that's the
start
weird
with a
thing.
trick.
That's the weird thing, and also. In my opinion, you shouldn't really consider how arena players take cards when you're rating cards, but that's another discussion.
It's not just arena. It's same on Magic Online. It's same on
Yeah,
your
yeah, 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 yeah. It's the same except if the people actually know what they are doing, which is only
I don't think so.
Okay, fine. They are underrated everywhere. I was gonna say Pro Tour, but I saw a bunch of extremely
Yeah.
weird picks on the Pro Tour, and yeah, I don't. Yeah.
Now,
LSV drafting wasn't what I expected it to be.
okay, there might be a streamer showdown that I'm hosting, and I think that's where it gets really different how you draft things, because basically every drafter there is drafting a ton, is a great drafter, has great results, and that's where it changes. I don't Pro Tour, you get a lot of people that just don't draft, so that's where it really changes.
Which is like understandable because you already are putting a ton of hours into constructed, and you're like, it's
Which
kind
is
of hard
yeah,
to find the time for limited, especially if you are a good limited player. It's like kind of, and you don't play constructed really. Like let's say something like LSV or other similar players. Like it's kind of hard to justify playing limited because you have to kind of just play constructed.
yeah, and that's completely fine, but that's how it is.
Yeah.
That's just how it is.
Yeah, exactly.
But in those like high level competitions, like streamer showdown, where everybody's gonna know what they're doing, where maybe the two weakest callers are a lot of times like two weakest callers, if there are two weak callers, make the best deck in the whole pod. That has happened multiple times. If you guys have been following it, we didn't have one for the last two sets, I think. But that has been happening a lot. Just the worst two colors, nobody gets into that archetype, or maybe, and then one person jumps on it, starts taking card, the others can't get into it really, and it is by far the best deck and wins the whole tournament. Happened multiple times, but still, same for the tricks. I don't think like who is going to use the tier list? Probably not people that are on the highest, playing highest level of competition that have the best results, right? So the tricks really, like, you can take them late. Even some really okay, like Feat of Resistance. What is the name here? I don't know. Better Feat of Resistance, that the protection white trick. That's what I don't even care how highly people are taking it. I'm just gonna take it. It's like, even if it's underrated, I'm gonna still take it. I don't want to risk not getting it. But like, for example, a good trick in Brothers War was the 1/1 indestructible hexproof, reach, trample, whatever. Like I at one point, that card was like pick 7+ for me every time, even though it still has a pretty high grade and it's a really good trick. So I'm gonna put this on a C, but that's a high grade for a trick in a normal environment. I think why I'm putting it that highly is a lot of main one actions, like NCA said, absolutely agree with that. Other thing is, like, when you use it offensively, sure, you always get a blocker, but this time you also get a blocker that counters explosive turns for the opponent, right? They're not gonna have that attack on battle that they might have otherwise. It's always nice to untap, but in this set, I think it's gonna be extra, just because now they are not flipping that battle that they might play, or they might have already in play, or whatever. So I think that's huge. So C is real nice.
Yeah, C for me as well. Nothing to add.
I can see this going to be.
I mean, you're basically never. I know, because I know I see you draft, and I know you're not gonna be taking it over like C plus B minus 2 early drops ever.
I'm for sure. I'm never taking the chance to wield that. Like if people, even if people take this like 3 picks under average, which is a lot, like, or 3 picks under where they should take it, or like 4 picks, it's still enough that I'm generally speaking, I'm not gonna risk in wheeling this trick. That's too much to give up, in my opinion. And honestly, the C plus 2 drop could be almost as well as this thing.
And I can't state like how much better this 1 mana trick is compared to like Shadows over Instant 2 mana trick of the same 2 mana trick. Next up we got wait, you're reading NCA, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Atraxas Fall, 1 in the green, sorcery, destroy target artifact, battle, enchantment, or creature with flying. No. I mean, it's like a better sideboard card than these kind of effects generally are, because you can like destroy battles after they are flipped, which is still fine. You have to spend them a removal spell on them anyway after they are flipped if you can't like stop them from flipping it. Pretty often. You can destroy incubator tokens, I guess, and some flyers, but mainly I'm only excited about killing the Oh, you can also destroy battles before they flip.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. But they still get the front side, I guess. Mainly, I'm excited about the battle part, mostly in this set. Um, because there are very few enchantments and battles or enchantments artifacts that I actually care about killing at all. Like, I don't never want to spend this to kill their incubator token or something. Um, and flyers, meh. I'm on a strict sideboard cut for this. I think it's like a D minus level, D level main deck card, let's say, because you can find hits with this, in, like incubators battles
Removal.
with or flying creatures. But I don't think I thought this was kind of main deckable at first, and I still like agree this is more main deckable than a lot of these effects, but I still don't think you should main deck it.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a D. Cyborg Gate for sure. They give it an X, but I mean, we all agree with that. I think.
I don't think this is particularly good out of the sideboard either, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like I because 2 mana sorcery, and even if your opponent has like 4 battles, let's say, think your best chance is anyway if they have a really good battle and some other battle, sure. But like you would kind of hope to just stop them from flipping the battles. That's like the best case scenario. Like you stop them from flipping the battle and don't actually kill the battles.
Yeah, the problem I have with that is that they got more out of that than you usually.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they got the front side as well. So even when you kill incubate tokens, they usually got more out of it still. And then like flying, it's nice that
actually I don't have a problem with that because I don't really think about like that. Killing a 2/2 incubator is the exact same as killing a random 2/2 to me.
I agree.
It's just like it's the exact same thing. Yes, it's like but that's like why removal kill like a 2/2 isn't great because often they do get additional value, but it's just the exact same thing as killing something that didn't get additional value when it's on the board.
I agree. Once something is on the board, it's on the board. It's exactly what it is. But the thing is that they can flip it at instant speed. You can't kill it on instant speed because it's a sorcery. So it's gonna get even a bit more than just being something else. You rarely have an incubate token and that's your card. So yeah, I'm just on a D, Cyborg Gate, that's fine.
I'm on a D, and if we were giving like actual sideboard grades, I would give this a D plus in the sideboard, out of the sideboard. I don't think this card is good against almost any deck.
A lot of flyers maybe.
I think it's okay as a sideboard card.
I think this card is super pushed and simultaneously really bad. I think the most part where it's most exciting of anything is dragons.
Yeah.
Larger dragons is probably where I want this. That's the D minus for me.
Yeah. The problem I have is that I generally I don't cite these effects against I would never cite destroy an enchantment against Broker's Ascendancy or something because it's just one hit. That's just a recipe for disaster. And that's generally why I have a problem with these out of the sideboard as well, because you kind of need multiple hits and you need the hits to also be...
Yeah, you need multiple hits for sure. It's not just, there's one thing I can't deal with. It needs to have multiple hits.
Yeah, and you need them to be worthwhile to some degree at least. And I don't even want to give this a sideboard check. I think
it's good out of the sideboard. They have a lot of flyers.
Okay, fine.
A lot of flyers, so sure, why not? A lot of enchantment based removal. Next up, Blighted Burgeoning.
No, my turn. Fuck you, Lola.
Oh, sorry.
Blighted Burgeoning. 2 and a green for an enchantment aura. Enchant land. Whenever it enters the battlefield, incubate 2. Whenever enchanted land is tapped for mana, its controller adds an additional 1 mana of any color. So this is a kind of a nice version of this. It's very similar to, again, Shadows of Renaissance because it's kind of the most recent set we've had. It's very similar to Weddingwood. It's a little bit worse because you can't add double pips with this, but that's basically irrelevant. If you want ramp, if you want fixing, this is pretty good for that. If you are not in the market for that, don't play this. It's still the Incubate 2 doesn't make it. It's that a good magic card on its own, and not like Weddingwood is a good magic card. On its own, but it is quite good if you actually do care about both the ramping and the fixing and stuff. I on average I would say this is a C minus or a D plus. But in some decks, you'll pick this like it's like a C plus. I'm gonna give it a C minus though.
Yeah, I'm on C minus as well. I thought you were gonna be lower than me, but yeah, definitely goes up in some decks. I think this is better than drawing a card for 2, because you know what you're getting. You know that you're gonna get some board presence. It's not the end of the world. You have 4 mana, 4 lands, and you play this and you get a 2/2.
Exactly.
So that's nice. That's nice. Like much better than drawing a card there. Of course, sometimes drawing a card is better, but you know what you're getting here. Right?
Yeah, it's also kind of nice that considering that this also helps you create mana, which then helps you pop incubate tokens, which are a little mana intensive. And also the incubate token pushes back a little against the lack of board presence that you're getting from spending 3 mana to do nothing.
It can be dangerous to play this when battles are in the game.
Bonded Herd Beast. 4 and a green for a 4/5. And for 4 and a Phyrexian red, it transforms into Plated Kiln Beast. It's a 7/5 with menace. So it's a pretty chunky vanilla creature on the front, and it transforms into a very chunky creature on the back with menace. I mean, I think this is fine. I think this is a solid 5-drop. I'm definitely not unhappy to put this in my deck. Like 5 mana 4/5, it's not good, but it's not like that bad. And then you can transform it to a 7/5 menace. Like 7/5 menace doesn't really block better than a 4/5. 4/5 doesn't attack particularly well. So the transform is kind of really nice on this because the front side is pretty bad at attacking, honestly. It's very easy to double block and so on. But the backside is then really good at attacking when you need to flip it. And you're in a spot to flip it. And if you are like pretty decently ahead or you're probably like decently empty on cards, what was I gonna say? Transforming this card isn't like as much of a risk as maybe you would think. And again, if you're like behind or pretty even and you think they might have an interaction, it's not like the backside blocks better than the front side if you need it for a block. So yeah, I'm on a C minus for this as well, I think.
I'm on a C minus. This is a fine 5-drop. Yeah, why not? Still a 5-drop. This is where I think the best. Okay, there are some really crazy transforms on uncommon, 1 or 2, but this is a really nice CMC to have transform. Like 5 mana, it's one of the later things you're gonna play, and it's easier to have that mana without that creature already being in a scenario where it needs to trade. So that's really nice. I'm on a C minus, yeah. Nice 5-drop. Still a 5-drop.
Okay. I'm gonna start a little bit higher. I'm on a C. It's not like we're drastically different in opinion. The problem with 5 mana 4/5 type creatures, the vanilla ones, is not that when you play them on turn 5, they're getting outclassed in combat, right? They're still usually the biggest thing on the battlefield. The problem is that when your opponent develops 1 or 2 other creatures, they just sit there and do nothing the whole game, right? Yeah. But they're, you even sit into the late game, they're usually dominant in combat, blocking wise at least. But this kind of solves that by being able to flip and attack. I like it.
Yeah, like just a 2/2 and a 3/3 block 5-drops extremely well without you having tricks or removal. So that is a problem.
I can still see this going even down because I think there is a lot of good top-end cards in this set, kinda. So it might mean that they all go down a little bit, but we'll see. Next up, Chopping Kavu, 3 and a green for a 3/3 with backup 1, and this creature can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less. This is kind of like a strict upgrade of multiple cards at the same time. It's not double green. It has backup 1, so it's not just a 4/4 that can be blocked by creature with power 2 or less. Not having double green is huge, IMO.
Huge.
Backup 1 is really nice. You can, again, this card is also really good as a 4/4 because the fact that you can't block this with power 2 or less makes this really hard to double block, and that's like the way you kind of easily deal with 4/4s often if you don't have removal. Like you double block and maybe you are holding a trick, or something, because your opponent might have a trick as well, and you kind of need something to also consider that, you can probably double block this. Now a decent amount of stuff still trades with this, I guess, but it is very chunky and can't be blocked by not chunky things. And then it enables attacks extremely well. It's like you put the counter somewhere, it's basically impossible to block it. It kind of works even better, or the creatures can be blocked by creature pouch or less, kind of works even better on something else. Because if you play this and you have, let's say, a 3-drop, it's pretty likely that your opponent has like one creature that's more than 2 power, and now they can just block it because it's like a 4/4 or something, the 3-drop that you played. But on 4, it's relatively likely that your opponent can either double block this or they can just trade with this. Yeah, I like this a lot. I want to say this is the best 4-mana 4/4 we've seen at common or uncommon.
So what's the grade?
B-.
Yeah, I'm gonna B- as well. I think this is amazing. Best 4-drop, yeah, we saw so far on common.
I think it's better than all the uncommons.
Probably.
B-. I don't know if there's a single backup creature I haven't liked.
Next up.
Converter Beast. 3 and a green. For a Phyrexian Beast, it's an 0/1. When it enters the battlefield, incubate 5. And then it's a lot of stats for a 4-mana card. Lots of stats for a 4-mana card. And the nice thing about you becoming an 0/1 or becoming a 5/5 plus an 0/1 here is that you can play this kind of comfortably on turn 4, even knowing your opponent might have battles, because you can just jump with this creature. It's not like it's doing anything better than jumping. Lola, why aren't you just writing me in Discord? Why can't you write in chat? Discord gives weird noises. Yeah, I like this fine as well. I do like it less than the last one. It is kind of really awkward against blue bounce. Against blue bounce.
Yeah. This is like, ooh, bounce is gonna be a problem.
Yeah. But you do get the 5 or just 2-mana 5/5 that then can transform at instant speed. Your opponent knows that it's coming, but still. And you can also just play this on 6 and get the 5/5 and 0/1 effectively. I'm still fine with this card, but I like it slightly less than the last card. I'm on a C for this, I think.
I'm on C-. It's fine, but it's nothing to write home about.
Yeah, maybe me too. Like the fact that the blue bounce scares me if I play this card. Like that's so.
Even a blue sorcery speed thing.
Yeah, but especially the instant speed thing.
Not really any removal.
So
I'm on a D+.
bad.
I'm actually gonna be on a D+. It's
Okay, I'll go to C-.
Yeah, D+ for me. It's a problem. Like this is 6 mana in total. Not really worth 6 mana in total, I think. And when you play this on 4, oof.
I actually think this is like kind of worth 6 mana if you got a real creature, but the token isn't a real creature.
The thing is, 4 mana 0/1 is what you're getting on turn 4. D+ is maybe too high. Cody?
I'm on a D+ for this, but mostly because I think it does have a home if you're sort of doing less quote-unquote fair incubation things, like specifically with the uncommon Omen Hawker.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just need like an extra thing that can transform, which is like, sure, just another card to add to your synergy pile of a deck. Not exciting, D+.
Okay, next up, Cosmic Hunger. 1 and a green. For an instant, target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to another target creature, planeswalker, or battle. It's nice that they made Rabbit Bite instant again, like it should be. It has been instant in some other area at least. I don't like Rabbit Bite, like it's a pretty meh removal spell, and I like this, but I still don't think it's a great removal spell. You do have backup here, which is nice. Like you can probably grow your creatures big enough that they can deal with something, but it's still a little bit awkward. I'm on a C. I'm
on a high C+. I really like this. Rabbit Bite is fine. This is significantly better.
Yeah, more than Ram Through was mostly fine.
So yeah, C+, green, every color needs, every color can use some removal. It's usually never better, but this does require some conditionality, so Not broken or anything, but easy C+.
C plus for me as well.
This actually, every time we've seen the Cosmic Hunger effect, it's been performed like a C, not higher. Not really much lower, but it's like been a C every time. We've seen it twice, I believe.
I've been thinking it was a B minus in some decks.
It was okay both of the times.
Next up?
Yeah, Crystal Carpus, 3 and a green. For an enchantment aura. Enchanted creature gets +3/+3 and has Sword Chew, then Cycling Chew. No, I don't want to play this card even if it has Cycling Chew. I don't even see like a Boggles kind of deck in this format, really. I don't know why you really do that. And you need like 6 mana to play this and protect your creature with more than the Sword Chew.
The blue hexproof thing, whatever.
D minus.
D minus as well. Bye bye. 4 mana aura that helps you get 2 for 1. Sure, War 2 is there, Cycling is there. Nothing helps this card. Bye bye.
I don't get the joke. I don't know why this is in the set.
Yeah, in a very high powered set.
I mean, they for some reason tend to put these like clunky enchantment auras in like most sets. You know, something.
Yeah. Whatever.
I don't think I'm ever putting this in a deck.
Probably never. Probably never.
Fertility's Favor, 3 and a green for an instant. I'm putting that card rather into my deck than the one for Vigilance in blue. Because it at least can cycle for 2, and there's sometimes, rarely, but sometimes +3/+3 is good. Fertility's Favor, 3 and a green for an instant. Target player searches their library for a basic land card, put it on the battlefield tap, then shuffles. Put 2 +1/+1 counters on up to 1 target artifact or creature. If you need fixing, just pick the other fixing card. Okay. This is also like, sure, this like provides some board presence-ish, but it's like kind of really weird because you're not getting a creature, so you get mega punished by a removal spell. So you kind of like want to play. I guess this works as a combat trick. I guess that's the joke because it's an instant speed thing. It works as a combat trick.
Combat aura.
I still don't. I don't know why I play this over the other one. If I really need fixing, it's not actually that bad because it's an instant now that I think about it. But it's still it's still pretty bad. I'm on a D for this. If you really need fixing, sure.
Yeah, I'm on a D+. I'm on a D+. I think tricks are gonna be fine in this set, but there are really good tricks. You really need. You can't play this just for ramp. I think most of the time you really need the fixing effect. So D+, I like it a bit more. I think I'm gonna put it in some decks, but not really looking for this early.
I don't have room in my deck to put this in.
Yeah.
I want basically every other combat trick more.
Probably true. Probably not enough room. What are you, Scotty?
In my mind, this is more fixing than a combat trick, but it's pretty bad. Next up, Iridescent Blademaster. 1 and a green for an elf warrior to choo-choo, and for 3 and a green, it gets +2/+2 until end of turn. You remember our old good friend Rootwalla? This is not. You can activate this multiple times, yes. But it's not like you're giving this +3/+3/+4/+4/+5/+5. Like it's nowhere near unblockable. Like if my opponent attacks with this and they have 4 mana up, and I think that this is what they are thinking about, I'll happily trade something if that means that I can time walk my opponent. Or time walk myself, whatever. I think this is probably the worst of the green 2-drops. I'm on. It's still like fine. Like this effect, 2 mana and 4 mana give it +2. It's still fine. A fine 2-drop. It's just nothing exciting. I'm on a D+.
I'm okay with this being my 2-drop. It's nothing special though. I'm gonna start as a C-. This effect is fine.
This is Iridescent Blademaster? Where
Yeah.
are we? On the tier list. It's because there's invasions. There's always a huge jump, so it's hard for me to find.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so NCA, you're on a B+ or D+.
Yeah.
I'm on a
Lola's on a
C-.
C-. I'm on Team Lola on a C-.
Overgrown Pest. 2 and a green for a creature pest. 2/2. When it ATBs, will get top 5 cards of your library. You may reveal a land or double-faced card from among them and put that card into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. And now, chat, yeah, this looks good. Vorak, this is not, okay? Let's make one thing clear, chat. You can get normal things, but even if you have 10 creatures you could get with this is still not Vorak. Because it is so much worse stats. I mean, this is fine. It's a 3-mana choo-choo. Draw a card. It's that alone is okay on ETB, but this has like, I think it's better than drawing a card. Decent amount. You probably want the green battles, especially in green red. Though in green red, I think you have better 3-drops, but still, this is still pretty good. I mean, it's just a good magic card. It's like nothing wrong with this. It's just good, but it's not like insane. It's just a good magic card. You'll have some double face cards in your deck. You'll have some battles in your deck. It's relatively likely that you'll hit like one of them if you don't want to land. But I'm on C+ for this, I guess.
Yeah, I like it as well, C+. The problem is, like, low stat line for a 3-drop means worse defense against battles, worse attack against battles, but it can draw you, like, a creature or a battle, or a land, depending on what you want. I mean, land is basically always gonna be there. It's very hard to miss with this. But yeah, the problem is that it is a 2-2 in that kind of environment. There is also a backup, so opponents are... You kind of really want to have your 2-drops and 3-drops have a fine stat line for trading. Still, like it. C+, pretty good card.
Slightly lower. Thing I want to see. I think the 2-2 stat line is actually extremely poor.
Yeah, of course.
Thinking about...
Yeah, I was thinking about C as well, but... yeah.
Can see it go down. But...
Yeah, and the fact that like it's not even like you can pick out your splash color with consistency. It just picks out a land. Of course, it does help with splashing. That's like a definitive fact, but I can't get over the 2-2 body for 3.
Oh, can you get the next card? I'll need to go to the toilet and get some water.
What do you say? Can I read the next card? Okay. Placed Rotten Tail for a green, we get a 1/1 Vigilance. And when it's in the graveyard, you can pay 2 mana and 1 green, that's 3 in total, to exile it. Put 2 +1/+1 counters on target creature. Activate only sorcery. I don't hate this. This is fine. It's 1-drop. If you're into Convoke colors, it's gonna be pretty damn good. If you're maybe gonna sacrifice it, it's gonna be good. And again, 1/1 is not nothing. And plus 2 +1/+1 counters are not nothing as well. Helps with clearing battles later. I really like this 1-drop. Does need to die for it to do some more things, but I'm gonna start it as a C. Could be wrong. I think this might be a C+, but let's start as a C. Sorry?
Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty similar train, agreeing with essentially everything. The colors are interesting for me here, in terms of this being in specifically green, and being able to leverage it in the exact same way. It's a good effect though, and I'm totally fine with it. I'm gonna start it as a C-.
Yeah, I'm on a C as well. I have no idea what you guys said, but I'm on a C as well. I think it is pretty good, but I could see C- just because I agree with Scott. It probably doesn't fit into every green deck. I think it's perform better in some decks, but probably you don't want it in some. Well, I'm fine with starting on a C though.
Green-black have some pretty nice loot or damage targets. That's nice.
Yeah, I think this is mainly not for blue-green. Oh yeah, I forgot. Portal Tracker. 1 in the green for creature, Settler Scout, 1/1. Tap, untap target land. Tap, choose target battle. If an opponent protects it, remove a defense counter from it. Otherwise, put a defense counter on it. Activate only as a sorcery. I mean, generally, these like 2 mana rampers that are like either 1/3s or smaller, that are like 1/3s, 1/1s, 1/2s, are kind of very mediocre. I get 1/3s on them, but like 1/2s and 1/1s at least. Very, very mediocre. I do like the fact that this has a second ability though. It's not like that useless. Or like not useless in later in the game. Like removing 1 or adding 1 isn't nothing. It's kind of like this could tap for a life. In some ways it's not as good, but in some ways it's like something like that. And if this it could tap for a life, I would like this card. So yeah, I mean, I also think that ramp is like kind of deceptively good in this set, just because You have so many places to put mana into in this set. I know. I like this more than the last 2-drop, but I still don't really care. I'm gonna C minus for this.
I'm actually gonna start as a C. It's really nice, like, to deal that 1 extra damage to battle, so you don't have to expend the full-on attack to clear it. Untapping turret land can be fine if you're interested in the, enchantment for land. And the funny thing is, like, you can put multiple enchantments on one land and then untap it for 3 mana, for example. Which is not nothing. It's not nothing. It's okay. Like, this kind of curves out well on turn 3. That land enchantment, that doesn't feel bad. And I really like the last effect. It's like that 1 damage can really matter, because full on attack on a battle, like presenting like 8+ is sometimes that you're gonna have to do when your opponent has 1 defense on the battle. So I'm gonna see for this one. I'm okay. The 1/1 is really bad, but I'm okay.
Okay, yeah, I'm actually even hotter. I'm even hotter on the last ability. I think a big problem. Well, yeah, the sizing obviously we talked about, but like the reason why I kind of like 1/3s and stuff better is because in the later game they can like double block, etc. pretty reasonably well. If you play this on turn 2, hopefully you have like a 4-drop to ramp into to recoup the loss of stats you're getting from this. But then in the later game, like manipulating battles, even if like nothing is going on, your opponent drops a battle, just like ticking it up to like 10 counters. I kind of like. I'm gonna C+ here.
10 counters?
Yeah, just like in this hyper late game, everyone's top decking and they have a battle with 20 defense counters. Yeah, let's go.
Okay.
The thing is, you did play a 2-mana 1/1, which does kind of help your opponent in attacking the battles.
Yes.
Kinda. But yeah, it makes up for it, and it does ramp, so you can also make up for the 2-mana 1/1 sometimes. Next up, Seed of Hope, green, instant, mills 2 cards. You may put a permanent card from among the milled cards into your hand. You gain 2 life F. This card is dog shit.
What is this?
This is the worst, probably the worst out of any, like, yeah, the worst of this effect we have ever seen, like similar effect.
Ever.
I think.
I think ever. I really think ever. We are probably wrong. But F. Okay, just F from everybody, I guess. This is so bad. Like, mill 2, gain 2 life, sure. And you must return a permanent card out of those 2.
Like, this is the kind of card where you would go like, okay, I'll replace a land with this. But because you mill 2 cards, you can never consistently hit what you want with this. And you can even miss with this card because it's on like mill
You
2.
can definitely miss with this card, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's bad. It's just unplayable.
Next up, Serpent Blade Assailant, 2 and a green for a 2/1 creature elf warrior. It has backup 1 and it has Death Touch. I don't hate this card. You remember I didn't make this comparison, but whatever. When we had the Rummage thing in red, you remember Bride Morkin from M21? Well, a pretty fucking good card in M21. Now, this set isn't M21. But giving something Death Touch does make it relatively hard to block. This does block anything. It's also like a 2-1 Death Toucher isn't the worst attacking. The problem with 1/1 Death Touchers generally is that they are like extremely bad at attacking because your opponent they just deal 1 damage to them. Sure, this does trade with the 1/1s mod on, but like your opponent, if they let this through, at least they lose 2 life, which is 2 life. And yeah, when you play this on 3, put a counter on something, it's relatively hard to block because it's like can't be double blocked and so on. I don't hate this. I also don't love it. I think it's the worst out of the 3-drops green has, which is maybe its biggest downfall, honestly, or biggest downside. That green has 2 better 3-drops. But I'm gonna C- for this.
I'm gonna C or C-. I kind of like this. The 2/1 Death Touch is relevant, and you really want to put this on some other creature, the +1/+1 counter. And then it enables some nice attacks, but 2/1 Death Touch is still gonna trade, and it did something for the board. I'm kind of okay with a C for this. I like this card.
Okay. There's a decent chunk of decks that I think I'd prefer this over the Pest. I think overall this is a C. If you put this on your 2-drop and have your 2-drop be a good attacker, that is very good. And if you don't, it's very bad. So if we're just designing our deck with a decent amount of 2-drops and you want a proactive game plan, this is a good Magic card.
Yeah, sure. I'll go to C as well. Yeah. Timberland Ancient, 4 green creature, 3/4, reach, trample, forest cycling for 2 into 6 of 5. Okay. Now this is nice. This is actually like a good card, or like a passable magic card for 6 mana, kinda. Unlike the blue one and the black one, and the red one is like okay, but it's borderline not passable. Yeah, I like this. This is a good top end, solid. 6 mana, 6/5 reach, trample, blocks everything, attacks well. It kind of does everything you want a 6-drop to do, especially when it has forest cycling for 2. I'm gonna give this a C.
Yeah, I like the 6-drop card a lot. I'm gonna give it a D+. That's what I give 6-drops that I like. It's like, I don't think you're gonna be fighting over this, but it's nice. You can forest cycle.
Oh yeah, I think I'm happy playing 3 of this in my deck.
I mean, I could
Yeah, I'd play
actually,
3 or 4.
I could actually see it as a C-. Like, forest cycling is huge. Like, this
I could see this as a C+.
I don't think so. Yeah, I'm gonna give it a C-. It's like forest cycling is huge on this thing, because it is a nice 6-drop. I think it's better than the 5/5 haste as well. So yeah, I'm.
Okay, I would give this a C- if it didn't have forest cycling for 2.
I wouldn't.
Okay, D+ probably,
I'll
but I
give
would give it a D+
D.
if it didn't have forest cycling 2.
I think I'll give it a D. I want a C-. I like this card. Wanna give it Scotty?
And see, I hope you can see a C+, because that's where I'm at. C+.
All right, let's
C+.
go.
I mean,
This is
I would
interesting.
definitely play a good chunk of these. Like, I am not super worried about flooding out on these, and like if I have 4 of these at common level, I'm just like, hey, my late game is pretty dang good, and it's not even that difficult to smooth myself to get there. Happy about it.
I'm gonna stay at C, but I can for sure see C+. I'm kind of between C and the C++. Stay at C for now. Vengeant Earth, 1 in a green. Wait, why do you have Aki Scrap Comber in your stream? Okay. Vengeant Earth, 1 in a green. For an instant, targets creature or land you control becomes a 4/4 elemental creature with haste in addition to its types until end of turn. It must be blocked this turn. No, I don't want this. This is like effectively 3 mana. It must be blocked, sure. Like, but these like must be blocked decks that almost never do anything. The only example I can think of that actually was good or like solid was the Kaldheim one in green white. I liked playing up to 2 copies of it, actually. It was a sorcery and gave a creature +1/+1, but it gave trample. Or gave a creature +1/+1 for each creature you control.
For each creature, yeah.
Blocked. But it gave trample, which was like the main draw of the card. It gave removal plus trample. Because then it effectively did perform as a removal spell in some scenarios, pretty good removal spell as well. But this is just like a pretty meh combat trick. No, I'm on a D for this.
I'm on a D-. There is abundance of really good combat tricks, so no, thank you. D-.
I'll join you at D- actually.
Yeah, D- for me as well.
War Historian, 2 and a green for a 3/3 reach. It's a human monk and it has indestructible as long as it attacked a battle this turn. Now we get in the juicy 3-drop. This card is choose. Like we've seen recently, they have like kind of almost every set they just print one really choose 3-drop. I mean, this isn't always the choose, but if it attacks a battle, it's an insanely good magic card.
It's been green a lot of times, the juicy 3-drop.
Yeah, it's an extremely good. Like, sure, the floor on this is like a C level card, probably, or something, but that's the floor, and the ceiling on this is probably like an A level card.
It's like a C+ floor, right?
Yeah, C+, I would say, something like that.
3/3 reach is, I think, really good.
I'm gonna give this. You do need to build around this a little bit, but we're gonna get to the green battles. At least one of them is very, very good, I think. And sure, I don't think green is as good at flipping battles as red, but red-green is really good at flipping battles. And Also, I think in green is still fine at flipping battles. This is kind of single-handedly makes you want to pick up battles because the card is so good if you pick up
He's
battles.
so good at picking flipping, yeah.
I'm gonna give this a B.
I'm gonna go to B minus. Love the card. Nothing much more to add.
B minus for me as well.
Very, worry, very, thespian. 1 and a green for a 3/1. Can't throw it when it enters the battlefield or dies. Surveil 1. Yeah, this I think is the best one of those 2-drops we've seen in green. Actually, a pretty fucking good 2-drop, I think. 2 mana 3/1. Okay, it's like kind of like a 2 mana 2, which is generally I would say very slightly better, but not by much. But you surveil 1 when you ETB, which I would already be happy with on my 2-drop. But you also surveil 1 when you die, which is like even weirdly enough, if you play this on turn 2, it's like kind of even better. Because then you probably know what you're looking for. This also makes you just lets you keep sketchy hands more often. Surveilling 1, nice. You can look for your lands. Yeah, I think this card is an excellent 2-drop. Is it better than the red 2-drop? Is it better than the lifelink 2-drop? I'm between a C plus and a B minus.
2-drop.
Thought this is a C plus.
Yeah, I'm gonna start as a super nice C plus. Beautiful. I don't think you're gonna have overabundance of these, so just pick them up. Beautiful card. Early game, mid game, late game. It does enough, right? And your 2-drops in late game are usually like, but this one is like, yeah, sure, I'm fine with it in late game.
Love the assistance hitting my 3rd land drop. Hate 1 toughness. C plus.
Boink.
So 3/1s are the best. Like 3/1 is by far the best stat line late game. Because it's like it can actually trade with the creatures that are bigger with it. It's also kind of better than a 2/2 in an aggressive deck, so mainly I just like 3/1 more than any other stat line for 2 mana. Wildwood Escort, 4 and a green for a creature, Elf Warrior, 3/3. When it ETBs, return target creature or battle card from your graveyard to your hand. If it would die, exile it instead. So it's like a big gravedigger. I'm not like that happy with gravediggers nowadays, like 4 mana 2/2 return a creature from your graveyard to your hand or something. 5 mana 3/3 return something is maybe a little bit better. Being able to return battles is nice. Man, I'm fine with this card as my top end for sure. I'm gonna give it a C minus.
I'm gonna C. I kind of like it. It does suffer. If battles end up being pretty good, all of these understated value creatures are gonna go down. If that happens, because then you're really gonna need to impact the board, and that could be the case. But I'm gonna start as a C. It's unfortunate that it exiles because, like, there can come a point in the game where you just, I don't know why it exiles itself, but where you just get this 3/3 back, and then you get something else back when you have multiples of this. But I think C is a fine start for it.
I don't think this is considerably better than the Transform 5-drop.
The thing is, there is a sub-team that mills you a bit, so it's a little bit easier to get those cards. But...
Yeah, but in black-green, I don't think I want this.
No, I mean, I don't mean you mill yourself. Opponent sometimes mills you.
Yeah, true.
C seems fine. Could go down to C minus easily, or D plus even.
So it's a little clunky, you know. It's a little slow. Getting a battle back and then having to defeat it again is not the greatest. I think it's pretty stinking grindy. That being said, it's interesting.
Telegraphs the battle, right?
It's really interesting because I'll tell you exactly why the exile clause exists. I don't think you ever designed a card like this with the exile clause, and this card is clearly not designed for constructed. So this was put there as an actual nerf when they tested limited, right?
Yeah.
So like, which means like multiples of these was like oppressive for the format, apparently.
Yeah.
Enough where they wanted it to exile itself.
Well, this is playtesting is always questionable. They exclusively play the sealed, I believe.
Really?
or like
No way, the
at least,
draft.
at least mainly sealed, because sealed. I understand the point, because if, let's say you can do like you have a playtesting group, and because it's not a huge amount of people probably, so this is the last comment, so it's a good place to talk about this. So let's say there are like 20 people even who play this, but they'll probably also do something else as their job at the same time. Let's say you can do like 100. That's probably too much. I don't think they do that much. Let's say they do in total like 50 drafts as sealed pools against each other. Sealed is also easier because you don't need actually 8 people for it. Much easier. But like 50 to 100 in total between all the people.
Okay.
Maybe more, but
Give us something.
The point was that's an extremely small sample for like any kind of playtesting. Like that's mainly like inconclusive. You can't really have a big enough playtesting group to kind of reach. You can get some general ideas about cons and colors, but good ideas, no.
Rainfall says Rosewater has explicitly said they test mostly for draft, and
no,
we believe.
They have said they test mostly for sealed, I believe. I might be wrong, but it would make sense because sealed does tell color balance much better than draft. It's much easier to figure out color balance from sealed than draft, because in draft it's kind of like contextual on how everyone rates the cards. In sealed, if you wanted to like every color to be pretty much equal, testing sealed, it's like a way better place to do that than draft, because it's pretty similar to draft in terms of how cards perform anyway, and you kind of see better how deep every color is, how many good cards it has, and so on. So it like would make sense.
E- for me.
Wait, Scotty didn't give the grade already. Yeah, I don't know.
I'm saying it again.
I hope this is gonna be good. It means that longer games are good, and there's a lot more decisions to be made when games take a bit longer. When they're not like oppressively long, nothing attacks good. But yeah, that's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, I disagree, but whatever.
Okay. We're done with the commons, and on to the uncommons. Let's talk about uncommons and commons together at the same time, like last time. That good?
Wait, hold on. I typed in booster.
Is booster.
It's supposed to be is booster?
Yeah. In booster is for Mull for some reason.
Oh.
Makes sense.
Multiverse Legends.
Fairgrounds Trumpeter as in the set.
What?
Okay, yeah, you're right. Okay, is booster excludes Fairgrounds Trumpeter. Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, we got Copper Host Crusher for 6 and double green. It's a trample 8/8 hexproof. Okay, I don't think this card is good, but it's irritating.
I'm happy it has hexproof. I'm happy that they didn't give this like WOD 6. I'm actually happy that they gave this hexproof. This is the one of the few cards that deserves hexproof.
Yeah, I mean, if you're playing an 8-drop that is literally one body without haste, you need... okay, yeah, I'm okay with hexproof on this thing. Actually, yeah, I'm fine with hexproof here. I mean, it's not bad to ramp into this, I guess. It doesn't have reach, it's only one body. It's 8 mana. I'm on a D for this, and you kind of have to make your deck a bit ready for it. There is again like that common untap land, and then the common make land produce 2 mana. So you can have like 4 mana from one land, and this could be the thing to get into. Yeah, okay, I'm on a D. It's a card that can make your deck.
All right, yeah, 8/8 and 8/8 trample hexproof. Yeah, punch, huge damage, D-.
Yeah, the only reason why I'm excited about this card is the reason that this is actually a good reanimate target at uncommon.
But how are you reanimating?
I don't remember. Surely there is like some reanimate.
There is nothing. There's nothing.
Oh fuck.
There's not a single one.
Then this card is boring as fuck. I'm on a D as well.
Yeah. Okay. If you go into rare territory, there is, but yeah.
Okay, then that's fine, because the rare actually, like, this is reasonable to pick up. If I pick up the rare, yeah. Okay, I can build a reanimate deck then. Nice.
The chat is kind of on D, but a good amount of you are like higher on an 8-drop. Anyways, next up we have Knotvolt Hermit for 3 and a green. You get a 4/4. Normal stat line, but for 5 and blue Phyrexian mana, you can turn it into a 5/5, and when it attacks, up to one target creature has base power and toughness 5 at the end of turn. Okay, not a completely broken flip side. Costs a lot, 5 plus 2 life or 6 mana if you have access to blue. But the base is a 4/4, and we really don't get good bases. The red one, okay, the red Tudor has very, very good front side. Usually they have like pretty D minus cards on the front side with most of these, and this one is just nice on the front side.
I would give the front side a D+.
Usually we get like D or D minus on the front side for this, so that's still worse. I'm fine with this. I'm gonna actually take it as a C+. Scotty, NC, you wanna lead while Scotty is?
Scotty said me go. Okay. Yeah, I think this is probably a little bit worse than the common 4/4, but both of these are.
Incubate.
This does attack. Yeah, the incubate. This does make incubate tokens huge, but this does make anything huge. To be fair. It does. The thing is, it does attack for just a lot when you flip it. Like you're attacking for 10 damage with this and one other creature.
It is an immediate effect.
It's a lot of damage.
Probably more. Like you have +1/+1 counters and incubate. I think it's gonna be more than 10.
Yeah, but like 10 at the minimum.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I gave the common 4-drop a B-, so I'm gonna give this a B-.
You're gonna give it what? A
B-.
I think this card is fine. I'm on a C+. I think this is worse than the common backup one, whatever, you know, but it's a C+ for me.
It might not be, you know, but again, there's so many good 4-drops. I think the other one is gonna go to a C+. Alright, next up we got Herbology Instructor, and for 1 and a green you get a 1/3, but when it enters the battlefield you gain 3 life, and you can flip it for 6 and Black Phyrexian mana into a 3/3 into a 3/3 that says when this creature transforms into this creature, target creature on opponent controls gets -X until end of turn, where X is this guy's power. Okay, I like this. Is weird. This is a weird card. I like it. Like the effect. Like everything about this card. So 1/3s are bad. I think bad for clearing battles. Not very good. Very bad for attacking. They're not even good for blocking. But this gains you 3 life. That's a lot of life on a 2-drop for you to stay in the game. And sure, it costs a lot to transform it. It's susceptible to removal. But minus... Oh, god damn it, I always go to the left one. But it kills something that has, well, 3 or less toughness. And it might even do better than that if you put anything on this thing. Yeah, if you just put anything on, any counter on this thing, it's gonna kill more. I like this a lot. I'm actually gonna give it a B-.
Yeah, I like that grade. I'm also on a B-. This is just like a true drop. I'm really happy to just run out, get into combat which way, and then if I just happen to hit 6 mana, kill something. I'm not asking that much more from my 2.
Yeah, I'm actually a little bit higher on this because 2-drop side is very good. I chat at least is underestimating how good a 2-mana 1/3 that gains 3 life is. That's a good magic card. Like 2-mana 1/3 is generally good, but gaining 3 life is a lot of life. It's kind of like Graph Mole, but Graph Mole requires more work. And you can repeat it, but whatever. And then you can pay 6 mana to like kill something later on. It's kind of like the 6 mana removal spell. Here it doesn't hit like any. You have to kill a specific thing. It doesn't hit anything. But it's kind of like a 6 mana removal spell that gives you some value, but it's the other way around. Just that the removal isn't as good. And I like them more than just kill anything and then get something extra. I'm gonna B.
Okay.
Heck yeah.
I can see it going to be very easily. Next up we got in... Let me reset the grades and everybody can vote right now. For 4 Invasion of Muraganda. For, I don't even know what that is. For 4 and green, you get a 6 defense battle. But when this thing enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. Then that creature fights up to one target creature you don't control. And it flips into Primordial Plasm for 4. It's a 4/4, and at the beginning of combat on your turn, another target creature gets +2/+2 and loses all abilities until end of turn. Okay, all abilities is kind of bad, but I'm +2/+2 is pretty fucking good. You don't even have to attack with this. Man, the art, I love the art here. What is this? What did this become? But a dog?
At least the loses all abilities. At least if you have a flyer, you can target your opponent's flyer and it then doesn't fly.
Yeah, I guess. Whatever. Also +2/+2 on the incubator tokens is beautiful. Now, 6 is a ton, and this doesn't really give you a crazy good attack. We saw these effects for 4 mana with just a sorcery speed card. Hunt the Weak, it's nothing too special, but for 5 mana it's fine with this effect, but it is gonna be quite troublesome flipping this. I still like it quite a bit, but this one takes... this one is a lot riskier. Playing it on a green 3-drop that gains indestructible is pretty solid. I mean, this in Gruul is gonna be, I think, very good. Outside Gruul, it's fine. So I'm just gonna give it a C+, but it can go lower on or higher depending on what deck you're in. I might be too high on it, but I like it.
What was that grade again?
C+.
C+. Okay. The cost is very... or the defense cost is pretty high for my liking. I do like the card. I wanted to give it a B-, but it seems pretty intensive to flip this, even if this does obviously help clear the way. I actually do like the fact that it's not the worst Magic card on the front side. I think I'll also join you at a C+.
Yeah, so the front side is Hunt the Weak, which I don't think is a particularly good limited card anymore, to be fair. But it's like Hunt the Weak for 5 mana, and then the backside is I don't know. The backside is honestly worse than a lot of other battles. Weird enough, even though this is 5 mana. I personally think this is only good in green-red. And I don't think I will want this outside of green-red is my gut on this. Because red-green is very good at flipping battles. How good the green overall is, I'm not so sure. If you have a bunch of war historians, good. But even then, it's possible that the war historians can't attack into this anymore. I'm on a C-, mainly because I think this is like a C+ in red-green, but I think it's like a D in other decks or something. Maybe D+. I'm gonna C-.
Yeah, I can see it going down, but I kind of like it. Chat is mostly on a C, just between us. Next up, we have Invasion of Zendikar. It's a 3 and a green, 3 defense, only 3 defense siege. That says, when this thing enters the battlefield, search your library for up to 2 basic land cards, put them onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle, and it flips into Awakened Skyclave. It's a 4/4 Vigilance Haste. Yes, haste, weird, but it's true. You can tap it for 1 mana of any color, and as long as this is on the battlefield, it's a land in addition to its other types. So I guess there is some non-land things, right, that this dodges.
I don't think there actually are, because I looked at it at some point because I was interested in it. I think kind of everything just hits a creature, at least mostly.
Oh, there is literally 1 card. It's the sorcery in blue that puts something on top.
Yeah. The haste is because it can add mana.
Yeah, the haste is because it can add mana.
By the way. Yeah.
I got a problem with this one. It's like 4 mana doesn't affect the board. Does ramp you quite a lot, but I don't like this effect for 4. But this plays really well with the 3 indestructible, 3 mana indestructible, 3/3 reach. Like, that's the dream. And then, but the thing is, I mean, you're getting a lot if you do that. You're getting 2 lands, ramping, and you're getting actually more. You're ramping for 3. Getting a 4/4 vigilance. Oh, this is so dependent on what's happening on the board right now, because I hate this effect. I really, really don't like it. I think this 4 mana gain, search for 2 basic lands, is unplayable. I think those cards are F, just unplayable in any deck that you're ever building. But, oh man, I'm gonna give it a C minus, but I think it goes up depending on what your 2-drops and 3-drops look like. Like that 3/3 indestructible is really good with this, really good. So that's why I'm giving it a C minus, even though like front side is F. What do you think, Scotty?
Yeah, it's really interesting. It's almost the polar opposite, or not. Well, sort of. It's the front side is bad, right? And the back side is actually kind of mid. But for me,
it's 3 defense.
the 3 is really low to flip. 3 is like one 2-drop slipping through, you know, like a 3/1.
Yeah.
I think that makes it a reasonable card overall. I'm with you at a C minus. It's really awkward that like you really want the early curve, and then dropping this. And then what kind of deck does that look like, where you like have the high density of early drops, but also somehow want your 7th land, you know? It's interesting. I wonder if you're just supposed to assume that the front half has like marginal text, and just like say like, oh, you're just gonna score bonus 4/4 with high consistency. That sounds better to me.
I mean,
as
if
like
you're flipping it when you play it, you're doing it. You're definitely doing it.
Yeah. C minus.
I think this might actually be the single biggest difference we will have so far. I think this is the best battle at Uncommon.
Ooh.
This has some like extremely busted implications curve-wise, and Boss Age who reaches Skyward was like an A minus level card, maybe even an A, but probably an A minus.
Which card?
Boss Age who reaches Skyward in Neo.
Yeah, that's been good.
It was absurdly good, and I think this is better against aggressive decks than Boss Age who reaches Skyward, weirdly enough.
Because aggressive decks attack all the time.
Yeah, but like because Boss Age who reaches Skyward was actually like if you were mono red, which was the only fast enough deck to go under Boss Age who reaches Skyward.
Yeah.
You were very happy to see Boss Age who reaches
Oh, Boss Age was so
Skyward.
good against.
Every other deck was really sad to see Boss Age who reaches Skyward, basically. Anyway, this is really easy to flip, and there's just a lot of places you can put mana into. I actually don't think the front side is terrible. If you want ramp, I would be willing to play a 4-mana and put 2 lands on the battlefield in my deck.
Did you ever play that card in your deck?
What?
Did you ever play the 4-mana gain 2 lands in any deck ever?
No, because they are never good. They are like look at top 8 and put 2 lands on the battlefield or something. Or look at top 4 like that.
No, sometimes it's just like get 2 lands.
We have like cultivates. Then
Different.
The 4-mana ramp spells are like dog shit always. I have like some weird conditions that need to be met. But I wouldn't put it into my deck. That's not why I'm saying that it's good. But I'm not saying that it's good. I would put it into my deck if I cared about ramping. Anyway, it's not like 4-mana get 2 lands plus. I'm kind of looking at it like 4-mana get 2 lands plus the backside, which is an extremely good magic card if you combine both of the sides. And this has only 3 defense, and it's like, I will play this in my aggressive deck, I will play this in my mid-range deck, I will play this in my slower deck, I don't care, I will play this in any deck I will play. Because it's so easy to flip, and if you combine 2 sides, like even in my aggro decks, I can... It's not like I can't in Modern Limited sense, like, find ways to spend mana until, like, I have, like, 8 lands. That's not the problem, generally. Especially in this set, I think, with all the transform stuff and so on. I just think this card is kind of cracked. I was gonna go A minus, but I go B plus.
No, the more you talk about it, the more like so Gruul is like ideal.
Yeah.
But what do you think about like black 5-mana 3/5 common after this?
Sure.
That seems real nice.
I just like playing this, and then I can double spell for a couple turns or a few turns also, and then I can start flipping the couple transform cards I have. Maybe play something expensive as well.
It gets real
Like-
problematic in late game on some boards.
This ramps you so much that you can get. If you can flip this,
It's broken.
Like if you can flip this on turn 4, I think it's an A level card.
Yeah, it's broken if you can flip it. It is broken.
Like you get 3 mana worth of things essentially, because the backside also can add 4 mana. You get like not 3 mana worth of stuff. You get 3 lands. Like you can add for 3 mana the next turn if you flip, and I don't think that's an unreasonable thing to do. Flip this on turn 4.
No.
Or the other option is like your opponent has to make some really awkward blocks because they want to stop this from flipping, and that's also like a good outcome.
What are you gonna give it?
I'm gonna give it a B+. I've already decided, but I'm really close to giving it an A-. Like I think this card might be the best uncommon in the set even.
I don't think it's an A- ever, but the thing is like, if you have the 3/3 indestructible guy, this is broken. Like, whatever they do, if they jump with a 1/1, this is broken. But I'm gonna go to C+ actually. Like, you talked me up on it. Opponents, like, this is a 3 defense saga. The huge thing is that the opponents are not gonna really attack you that much after you do this. And that's doing a lot already. Like, even if you're not flipping it for a while, for a long time, they are not gonna attack you, because it's just 3. It is very hard to predict. It's 3, okay, I'm gonna have these blockers, 1 removal, if it's like 5 defense. You can really calculate how many attacks you can make, how many blockers you can leave. But with 3, it's extremely hard. So I can see this like stopping the boards a lot of times.
Yeah. Also to note, you don't even need the War Historian to flip this consistently on turn 4. Anything in 3 power on turn 2 and 3 will basically do, because not anything, but in a lot of cases they will kind of do, because your opponent doesn't probably play around you having a 3 defense battle in your hand. Like, you only need to get through with 1 creature if it has 3 power to flip this. And that's like that's an extremely like common or pretty common scenario on turn 4. Whether you want to play or draw, like your opponent attacks you and you have like 2 creatures left and you just kill this, no matter what they play.
This set is actually going to be so interesting in best of 3, when you see few battles that the opponent has, and when they see few of your battles. That is going to be so interesting, like to decide.
I'll move to an A- actually. No,
right? I don't think so. This is huge. This is huge. I'm on a C+. Scott is still on a C-, right?
No, I'm actually on a B now. So if does anyone want to say something first?
No.
Okay. I'm just starting to envision, because like there's an interesting thing with battles, in that your opponent's also playing the same battle game that you are technically, right? So we can't just say that, because it's, because I play my battle, I'll definitely be able to attack it, because like there's a cost in attacking a battle, which is you're also leaving yourself open to be battled as well. However, I'm starting to feel that the defense counters on these battles matter almost as much as equip costs, in terms of not like how much it takes to kill them, but in terms of how much you have to attack them and how much you can defend yourself at the same time. So for the specific fact that you can actually strike in with minimal amounts of creatures too and still defend yourself, like you don't have to flunge nearly as often to kill this battle and flip it, as you do other cards, and leaving yourself open to be battled back, right? This is very, very easy to slam, threaten, or to kill the battle with like a reasonable combat, and also leave back multiple defenders, so like including this obviously being a 4/4, and also like the extra point in that if you have 6-7 mana on the following turn, you can, and a reasonable deck build, you can just pull ahead naturally, lands equal spells. So I like it a lot, actually, the more I think about it.
Yeah, and it's like the red guy that can deal 2 damage to it, leave it on 1. The green 1/1 can, remove 33% of the counters. Okay, I'm on a B-. I can see this going way up. Yeah, I'm on a B- on this one. Yeah, the tree is like so low, and you are
Yeah,
getting.
3 is what makes that card, I think, basically.
Yeah, 3 is what makes it. 3 is what makes it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, everything else is fine, but yeah, 3 is what like it seems pretty easy. Anyways, we got Kami of Whispered Hopes. It's 2 and a green, 1/1. But if one or more +1/+1 counters would be put on a permanent you control, that many +1/+1 counters are put on that permanent instead, and it can tap itself to add X mana of any color where X is this thing's power. Oh, this one is interesting. This one is interesting. It's a 3 mana 1/1. That's a problem. But there is a good amount of +1/+1 counters. This in green-white, I think it's gonna be pretty damn good. Like making all of your backup creatures really powerful, even if you're missing on that turn. Making your tricks, some of your tricks broken. I have a huge problem with this being a 1/1, but it does ramp you. This into a 4 mana 3/3 that makes this a 3/3.
Yeah.
Ramp for 3. This can lead to some explosive turns, even if you're not ramping a lot, even if you're just like. Oh wait, the transformed tokens. Oh, it's any permanent, so all of your incubate tokens are +1/+1. Ooh, yeah, all of your incubate tokens have more counters. Oh, I'm gonna give this a C+. I can see this being higher in some decks, but man, 3 mana 1/1 is very medium, and late game it can be really bad. But I'm gonna start as a C+, which is, I don't think I've ever given something like a 3 mana 1/1 a C+. But let's go.
The second ability is pretty bustos.
In this set, this is the best set to have this, I think.
Yeah, it's so easy to get counters on this.
Or other things.
It's really easy to just double spell on the turn after, like real easy. It's kind of because I'm trying to think of one thing that in a hyper aggressive backup leaning deck, right? Am I more interested in 2-drop into backup creature, make my 2-drop like a 3/3 and attack? Or am I more interested in doing this, taking turn 3 off basically and having an explosive turn 4? They might also just be different decks, right? And I actually don't know based on just looking at the cards what I want to be doing in terms of what's more powerful. I'm just going to bet that this is more powerful because it just feels extremely explosive, right? And like, you know, messy games unlimited and stuff lasting till like turn 5-6, this can just accumulate a lot of snowballing value. Obviously, the ceiling in certain decks is going to be like a BB+, but I think on average it's going to be a C+.
Yeah, in your opening hand, this honestly might see one of the best cards we've seen. In a backup deck, this card creates absolutely ridiculous curves. If they don't kill it, I think this is basically when you see this, if you don't kill it, you lose. Like that's basically how this card is gonna perform. I feel like it has 1 toughness, so it does die to everything. If you ever go this guy into any backup creature, you don't even need more than 1 backup creature. God forbid you have multiple backup creatures. But even if you have a single backup creature after this,
you at least double spell.
You put 2 counters on this, you immediately double spell, like maybe even triple spell. I'm
gonna B-.
Yeah, if we gave build around grades, I would give this a B+.
Sure.
Overall, I'm on a B for this. I think this card, I don't actually think it's even like that bad late game because you still like get this ability on. It's not great, but it's like pretty bad. But it's not. I'm not unhappy to draw this late game. Especially if I can use the mana, which is pretty common. And in the opening hand or very early, this card I feel like is pretty ridiculous.
And white trick as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna B- as a base. I'm okay with B+ ceiling. Why not? Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah, sure. I'm on a B for. I mean, I don't really want to give it a ceiling grade because I think the ceiling is higher than a B+. But
then let's give it higher.
What would you like to give it as a ceiling grade?
A- or A, but probably A-.
Scotty?
All right. That's the question, huh? Because I guess it's the tiebreaker. A- because of the super busted curves. I am actually okay with that.
I'm also okay with that.
It really does break and it's so easy to do. It
Yeah.
really does break what
Like
feels like.
I think it's gonna
magic.
be rare that it's like that good, but if you actually have like 10 backup creatures, which is not that unreasonable in white green, probably.
I mean, it doesn't have to be white
Awesome.
green. You can do incubate things.
Yeah, that as well. Like, yeah. But I'm gonna be overall for this.
Yeah, B minus for me overall. Next up, we have Ravenous Sailback. For 4 and a green, it's a 3/4 that says when it enters the battlefield, choose one. This thing gains haste until end of turn and destroy target artifact or enchantment. Battles are not enchantments. Yeah, I don't know. It's a 5 mana, the haste is really bad, the 3/4 is really bad. I mean, it's nice that you can like haste it, maybe kill a battle or something, but I like these effects, but usually they come on 3-drops with normal stats or something. I really don't like this card. It does kill any incubate tokens, so I mean, actually that's pretty good. Like, it does kill any incubate tokens. Oh man, it's really good in a side. I mean, this is really good in a sideboard. This is not like, yeah. I'm on a C minus and cyber grade. I want to have a cyber grade for this.
C minus feels high. I'm on a D plus. I'm not really interested in
Wait,
anything this is certain.
This card is extremely bad. How is this C minus? This card is so bad. 5 mana 3 for haste is like the worst card I've probably seen in the entire set.
No, haste is horrible. Haste is horrible.
Yeah, and then I guess I can destroy incubate tokens. I guess that's the joke.
Yeah.
But what if I don't hit an incubate choke?
Or artifact or enchantment.
Yeah, which there are pretty few of outside of incubate tokens.
Removal or equipment, maybe.
I mean, like the equipment is very desirable, right?
Yeah,
like,
that's fair. Okay, I'm gonna D, I guess. Sideboard grade.
Okay. A sideboard grade, guys. I mean,
I'm gonna D minus. Actually, I'm gonna D minus in sideboard grade. I just don't see myself ever playing this since it's like I can put it in my deck if I really am missing playables hard, but I can't see myself ever playing this if I have the option to, because it's just the failsafe is really bad.
The failsafe is really bad, yeah.
On this, even though it is pretty solid when it runs.
It's really nice. It's really good when it hits.
I'm gonna D minus. Let's stick at D. Never mind. Maybe I'll main deck this one a few times.
All right. Next up, we have Sand Stalker Moloch. What do you give to the last card, Scotty? D?
D plus.
D plus. This guy is 1 and a green, flash 4/2, and when it enters the battlefield, if an opponent casts a blue and or black spell this turn, look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal a permanent card from among them and put it in your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in random order. Oh, this one is weird. I mean, this has a not horrible floor. I mean, I don't care about like 3 mana 4/2s. It has flash. I don't really like the mana cost on this. But if colors are balanced, then 70% of the decks are gonna have a hit for this. But then again, like, they gotta cast it on their turn, if you're ending your turn or something. I like this. I think I'm picking this as a C+. And of course it's great in a sideboard. I actually like this card. I hate the casting cost, but I like this card.
Okay, I think the casting cost is a huge deal.
Yeah, huge deal.
I don't know. I haven't looked at the math in a while, but given my memory from a couple years back, if you just want to exemplify how difficult it is to cast a 1 green card versus a 2 green card, I believe your rate of hitting it on curve drops by like 25% in your normal 9/8 split, which is terrible.
But you don't have to play on turn 3.
Horrible. In terms of the difference with the delta between those cards on curve. So like this card is very good in my opinion, but I'm gonna also give it a C+, and it really does matter that it's double bluffed.
Yeah. I only like realized I always knew it's like much harder to cast, but I only realized it's fully big. I've studied a decent amount of the 70 lens stats, and I've realized basically effectively the same cards, even at 4 mana, go down like a couple percentage points when they are double pipped. Like, that's a huge drop for a card. A couple percentage points. It's like a grade between like C+ and a C or something. And 3-drops generally go down even more than that.
Also, people kind of like having pretty bad mana.
Yeah, but like let's say they have like 8 sources on average, because I think that's where like even if they splash, I think all the 17 lands people mostly probably default to having at least 8, which in my opinion is the wrong heuristic. I think you should aim for 9, but like 8 is passable if you
That
really
is the
can't get
minimum
it.
basically.
But still, they have a huge drops in win rates basically, or like big drops in win rates. In 3 drops have like from like let's say something is a B, they go all the way down to a C plus or a C. In some scenarios, like Citizen's Arrest, for example, Oblivion Ring has performed like a B generally, and Citizen's Arrest was like a C or a C minus. And that's not even a card you necessarily want to cast on 3, but it's just like double spelling becomes weird and so on. I as well like this card though. It's 70% of the time you're gonna play against one of these colors. The weird thing about this is that if you don't in green have a lot of instants, so it's kind of weird to hold this up on 3 because you kind of have to, in a lot of scenarios or even on 4, whenever you hold this, play it. If your opponent doesn't cast a blue or a black spell, and well, they can use spells from the other colors as well. So it's like kind of awkward in that sense. Unlike like the removal spell or something, you're kind of like you don't care that much if they are not playing both of the colors. With this card, I think this does become a lot better against blue-black compared to like blue-red. For example, really good sideboard card, but like, you're always gonna main deck this, so I'm fine with the C plus as well on this.
Yeah. One of the weird like polar hosers, I don't think that's how you call this card.
Yeah, I hate the card still. But...
Storm the Seed Core for 2 and double green. It's sorcery. You distribute 4 +1/+1 counters among up to 4 target creatures you control. Creatures you control gain vigilance and trample until end of turn. Please imagine this thing with the 3 mana 1/1.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, there's also the Celestia one that puts +1/+1 counter on everything. Yeah. So now we got like 2 uncommons that are possible. That card also gives you any mana, right?
Yeah, the 3-drop does give you any mana.
Yeah, anyways, I don't really like this. It's fine. If you have some synergy, it goes up. I don't like 4 mana sorcery that it's up to 4, right? So you don't need 4 creatures. You can
just put all of them on 1 creature.
Yeah. And I'm not a big fan, right? I think there is a ceiling for this, especially in green-white, but uncommons are where this shines. So I'm just gonna start this as a D+, because there is that ceiling where it could be real nice.
Okay. Yeah, I think this has synergy. I think this has synergy with a vanilla 2-drop and a vanilla 3-drop, and then 4 lands, because you tap this, manipulate your power toughness exactly where it makes it really awkward for your opponents to block, and then you hit them, their face, so they die. Like this, in the correctly, quote unquote, correctly built shell, where you want to be the proactive green player. This is like a 4/4 haste, you know, and also you get to defend. You also get like battle insurance, you know, so your huge creatures can also like make sure that your opponent doesn't flip some huge game swinging battle. So this has a super high ceiling, and I actually don't think it's super difficult to get there. Like in a lot of cases versus other proactive decks, sure, I'll like board this out on the draw, like pretty consistently. But even then, like, you know, if you're really getting smacked down and you have a 2-drop versus your opponent's like 3-drop and 4-drop, then all of a sudden, hey, my 2-drop's now a 6-drop, you know, and then that still makes things kind of fine for you. I'm kind of fine with this card. I think I'm gonna take this as a C+.
And your 2-drop is a 6-drop, but you spend 6 mana on it and 2 cards.
Yeah, and then it makes it still awkward for them to attack. That's like the worst. Well, like, the worst case is you have no creatures, but then GG, I guess.
I like this as well. This is kind of like a card that has some like, or it can be made comparisons to against many cards. It's like kind of like a travel prep, which wasn't particularly good in Shadows over Innistrad, but that was at least I think it was mainly because Blue had so many fucking bounce spells. It was stupid. Anyway, this is kind of like travel prep. It's kind of like overrun, and it's kind of like some kind of an aura at the same time.
Vigilance is pretty big for defending yourself and battles as well.
Yes, I think this card is just good in any aggressive green deck. Like it's not that bad to just cast this. You hit them for a bunch and the blocks become really awkward. You can just put them how you want. Vigilance is really nice. Trample is really nice. It effectively plays as an overrun later on in the game. It is a little bit clunky, yeah, sure, but I really liked it. And generally, these cards have been really bad. Like 4 mana, put 3 counters on something, 3 counters on a couple of creatures or something. That's a lot for 4 mana. A lot of stats for 4 mana and lots of stats / keywords. Like you kind of it's like kind of for worth of stats that have haste, vigilance, and trample. And honestly, I'm not even sure if like a 4 mana 4 for haste would be better. Probably not. I'm gonna go B- on this. I think. It can definitely go down, but I think it could also overperform even that. This is kind of like, this could be either something really good or something you basically never want.
I'm okay moving it to a C-. That's like the highest I can give this card ever. But it might be better, like, in the synergy deck it's gonna be really good. Really good.
My synergy is that you're aggressive and you're green.
Yeah.
Obviously, I think the ceiling is even higher, but...
C- seems fine for me. Scotty, you still on the same grade?
C+ for me still.
Alright. Next up, we got Streetwise Negotiator. For a 1 and a green, you have a 0/2 with backup 1, and this creature assigns combat damage equal to its toughness rather than its power. Wow, that's good. That's really good. Alright. Yeah. On its own, this thing is a 3/3. It can be a 2/2 that puts a +1/+1 counter on something and maybe makes it better, depending where you're putting it, of course. 1 for vigilance, baby. Attacking for 5.
Oh no, 1 for vigilance again.
We just can't get over it. Like every single card works with 1 for vigilance. And this is extremely powerful. Like the floor is so high. The best 2-drop, one of the best 2-drops that you're ever gonna play. And the ceiling is also, you put it on something that has like a lot of toughness, and now opponent has to block it. And it's still a 2/2, this one. Sure, it's not gonna work with bite spell, but that's completely fine, or with fight spell. It's just combat damage. This one is really good. I'm gonna give it a B, but I can see it go to B+ easily. Maybe I should just start it as a B+. I'm gonna start it as a B+. This card is amazing.
B for me.
This card was printed because they realized the blue-green uncommon was bad, and the blue-green uncommon needed to actually attack for a bunch. Yeah, it's basically a 2 mana 3/3 with upside, pretty nice upside even. I just looked at the green zone. There is actually like this creature assigns combat damage equal to its toughness rather than its power. I think barely does anything basically. Because there are almost no cards which work well with this that don't like really even have higher toughness than power. Very, very few. Like maybe in some scenarios you kind of give it +1 power. But even so, it's a 2 mana 3/3 or a 2 mana 2/2 with backup 1. Even if you exclude the text. I guess it can be downside on some creatures, but mostly they are just like statted pretty similarly. And you don't have to put a counter on something. 2 mana 2/2 with backup 1. Yeah. I'm gonna B+ as well.
All right. Next up, we have Tandem Takedown. For 1 and double green, it's an instant speed spell, which says up to 2 target creatures you control each get +1/+0 until end of turn. They each deal damage equal to their power to another target creature, planeswalker, or battle. Oh, this is a nice effect, but double green is a problem. I think the card is still pretty good, but with single green this would be... I would love it. Love it. Like, it's a removal that also helps you like deal damage, and it's a removal that also helps you get through and deal with battles. But because of double green, I kind of want to give it a C+, but I'm gonna start as a B-, because it's pretty good. It lets you like kill something and clear the battle. Again, double green is a problem, but B- seems fine.
I feel similarly about this card as to the other instant speed fight. So like boons here is that it's harder to blow out, right? Which is a big deal. You can't just get like one creature killed and your fight spell fails. You know you have two things teaming up on another thing. Obviously the mana cost is worse, and the what I mean by the mana cost, it's more expensive, right? It's more expensive, less efficient, and also much harder to cast. I do like the fact that another issue with Rabid Bite is that, or like the punch effects, is that sometimes they have a tough time answering keyword large that you can't deal with, right? From your opponent, but this one actually does reasonably well. Like you can team up even a 2-drop and a 3-drop to kill like a 6-drop, which is fine. But I don't think that there's downsides and there are upsides, and I think they all average out to the same grade for me as the punch spell. So C+ for me.
Yeah, I'm on the same grade as Scotty and kind of like similar thinking, but I think it's like a little bit better than the bite spell, just because it does answer something big, and a big problem I would say even with the rabbit bite is that it doesn't answer your opponent's biggest thing in a decent amount of scenarios. Instant speed fight or bite is still pretty hard to blow out, but this is like even hard to blow out, and I guess the +1/+0 is also nice for combat purposes. So yeah, I'm gonna C+.
All right. Next up, we have Tangled Skyline. For 4 and a green, it's an enchantment that says, when it enters the battlefield, you gain 5 life and incubate 5. Oh, okay. Incubate 5 is a lot. Oh, Phyrexians you control have reach. My bad. Oh, so a good amount of your board is gonna have reach, right? That's kind of nice. But you gotta pay 7 mana in total. 5 life is a lot, but it doesn't add to the board. I don't like this card. I'm gonna give it a D+. I mean, I like 5-drops that gain a lot of life, but this is not a 5-drop that gains a lot of life. It's nothing for the board when you play it. So it's gonna be a D+ for me. I can see it going to like D or something. Scotty?
Oh yeah, I think that this is acceptable. But I think this is acceptable. I'm definitely not as low as you. I think overall a 5 and a 2 in terms of effect will sort of average out to a 6-drop. And if this was like just a 6-drop, nice. I would like that card. I would like that magic card.
Green has the least Phyrexians out of any color, by the way.
Yeah. But overall, I think this is a perfectly acceptable place to be, and it's a flat-out C for me.
Yeah, I like this a little bit more than both of you, I guess. I think it is a little bit worse than a drop that gains life, because you can't affect the board on 5, and you also can't on turn 6 go this plus something else. Like you kind of have to skip a turn affecting the board, except if you go this on 7. But you kind of make up for that in the fact that you gain 5 life, which is a lot of life. And Phyrexian you're gonna have reach kind of also can make up for the fact, even if you have like one creature that's reach. But 5/5 basically 5/5 reach that gains 5 I would like even for 7 mana. And I think this is a decent amount better than that. Like I like the 7-drop in DMU, whatever, that gain a bunch of life. And sure, it does get bounced and so on, but it also does have reach. I'm either on a C+ or a B- on this. I can't really see this card being bad. I just think it's very solid. And then there's like additional upside over the card itself as well. I'm on a C+ because you still have to skip affecting the board probably on turn 5 or 6.
You're on a what?
C+.
Woohoo! Nice, interesting. Oh, we have these grades. This is like the most controversial tier list so far, for sure. Okay, guys, what do you think about green commons, uncommons? How do you feel about it?
Looking good.
Looking good.
Looking good, yeah. The early game is fine. The mid game is fine. The late game seems fine. Yeah, I like it. Scotty, you can lead the way on the rares and mythics.
All right. How's our time looking? Making terrible time. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're
excellent. How long can you stay up today? Like, are we on track to finish this early?
I really want to finish the Multiverse Legends today. I can definitely finish Green, and I'll check how many Multiverse Legends there are.
Let's see when we are done. Let's see when we are done.
Okay.
But yeah.
Go! Ancient Imperiosaur, 5 green for dinosaur. Creature dinosaur with 6/6 with Convoke, Trample, and Ward 2. When Ancient Imperiosaur enters the battlefield with Ancient Imperiosaur enters the battlefield 2+1/+1 counters on it for each creature that convoked it. So it's massive. It's absolutely huge. And as we were talking about with 7 drops before, like it's reasonable to do this on turn 5 with 2 creatures. So that would be a 10/10 Trample Ward 2. You can even do this on turn 4, and that would be a 12/12.
This is huge.
That's massive. This is good. This is a good Magic card. The unfortunate part in the hyper late game is that War 2 probably doesn't stop your opponent from killing this, given that like at that stage of the game they probably have excess lands.
But I kind of have to deal with it.
I like this a decent amount. Sure, you can wrap around it if you tap out too many of your creatures and leave yourself vulnerable, but if you untap with this, it will smack your opponents pretty stinking hard, and I think this is a B for me.
Okay, the only thing I want to do with this card is cast it for 0 mana, so it's a 20/20, and then give it haste. That's everything I want to do with this.
That's what you are gonna do.
Easy. Very easy.
I know how I'm giving it haste exactly.
A red card.
Oh yeah, the red convoke spell. So I just need 9 creatures.
Yeah,
and
8.
This is
8 is enough.
Oh yeah, true. 8 is enough.
Nothing.
Because I can make an 18. Yeah. 8
That's like turn
creatures,
6.
And it's like 7 mana, make it 20, 18 trample. Yeah, with haste. Okay, that shouldn't be too difficult, right? Anyway, yeah, I really like this card. It's like it does die to removal. Like the bot is rarely gonna stop your opponent from removing this, but it's massive. It's a very large creature.
That's what Scotty said.
It is kind of awkward because it's like Convoke Sorcery Speed again here, but I'm between a B plus and A minus. Like the ceiling is certainly there, but it's like it's kind of vanilla at the same time, and it does have a decently bad floor, you could say. I'll go A minus though. I think it's just like your opponent kind of in a lot of scenarios has one turn to kill this, or they effectively lose. And also, if you're facing a really aggressive deck, it's not like you have to tap your whole board to play this. You can play this for like 6 mana or even 7 mana, honestly, if you get there, if you need to, and not tap your things. Yeah, I'm on an A minus to begin with, I think.
I'm on an A minus as well. This is sure it's one creature, but it's so huge. It's Ward, it's Trample. I'm super happy playing this early. Turn 4 is not impossible. Turn 5 with even double spelling is not impossible. But even without that, I'm okay like giving myself being vulnerable to opponent removing this, because it is gonna take over real fast. So A minus, even though it's just one creature. Timmy grades, let's go.
Deeproot Wayfinder, 1 and a green, 2 mana total for creature Merfolk Scout. This is a 2/3. With whenever Deeproot Wayfinder deals combat damage to player or battle, surveil 1, they may return a land card from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Essentially, when you hit someone, if there's a land on top, you can put it straight into play. I don't think that there's that many ways to put graveyard. Oh, sorry, there's mill, there's self-mill, right? And there's opponent's mill too that can just bin lands naturally. So that's probably like the 2 main ways it's going to happen. This as a 2-drop, a 2/3 stats, that is fine. That's acceptable. If it was just vanilla, it would be fair, you know. But with an extra bonus, I kind of like this a decent amount. It's relatively larger. It holds +1/+1 counters extremely well. So I think this is very good. I would rather have the Broker's card, the essential 3/3, you know, by a decent amount. But I still think this is a B.
I'm gonna go a little bit lower, mainly because I think this is really good with +1/+1 counters. But if I don't really have +1/+1 counters, I think I would rather have the 3/1 at common than this. I think, but I'm not sure, and they're like pretty similar. Like, yeah, I guess the upside here is really, really good. Yeah, like you can ramp, and that's pretty busted if you get to do that. But mainly I'm excited about this with +1/+1 counters, and well, green has enough to make this probably quite good in most green decks, and then green-white I think this is gonna be like a B+ even or something, because prevailing, like you put a couple, like this probably gets in like 2 to 4 times or something in green-white, where you can put a few counters on this, a couple counters on this. If they don't remove this, they will probably remove this if they can. And then if this gets to ramp ever, it is kind of feels kind of unfair. I'm gonna B minus. I'll go B for this. I'll go B. I think there is probably enough backup in green alone that it's still quite good. Even though I think the common 2-drop can be better in some decks, but those are probably pretty rare.
Oh, the B minus for this one. Really nice creature.
Okay, I'll go B minus then as well.
Not really anything crazy in terms of like the text. Feels nice. Just as a tutor, it's fine. It can just be better than that, so why not?
Doomscar Warrior, 2 green, 4 mana for a creature human warrior. It's a 4/3. Backup 1, Trample. Whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player or battle, look at that many cards from the top of your library. You may reveal a creature or land card from among them and put into your hand. Then put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. This card is kind of bonkers. It's hard to cast, but backup in specific is very, very, very good at making your opponent decide between a chump and something bad. And this is, you know, like if it's like lifelink or first strike, or whatever, sure, like that something bad is like battle damage or life, right? But this is bad, right? This is like lose a card by chumping or lose a card probably by your opponent drawing a card. Big fan. Like, not only does it do that on enter, it just like is a perfectly reasonable body on its own that hopefully will just threaten to also draw another card. I think this is, despite its mana cost, very, very good. This is a B+ for me.
Yes, this it's basically a 4-mana 5/4 trample. It is double green, sure. It's gonna be a decently common that you can't cast this on 4, but if you can, it is really busted. Yeah, it's like the thing you give the counter to gain trample also, so it's like kind of honestly very hard to imagine that the opponent can even block the creature very well. And if they can't block like if they would have to jump it and take like 1 damage, they are just not gonna block the creature. And then you get to look at more cards, because even if you look at 1, it's decently likely that you'll hit a creature or a land card. Yeah, this card is really good. I think I wanna give this an A-, but I'm between B+ and A-. Well, I'm gonna give this an A-.
Yeah, I'm between those two. This is amazing. Like just the floor of being a 5/4 trample with this text is already would be an amazing card. Backup 1 is huge. Now, okay, please. You have a battle. You have a 4/3 menace that doubles its power. You put it there. Now you have a 10/3 menace, a 10/4 menace trample. Opponent cannot block all of that. The battle is gone, but opponent can't block all of that. There's no way. And you're also gonna get other things and kill 2 creatures. That's the dream, and I can't wait to live it once. So I'm gonna start as a super high B+. I can see it going to an A- easily. It's so close between those two, but let's start it as a B+.
Can I ask something before we go to the next card?
Of course.
How do I sort the cards in the back end in the tier list? Like if I want to sort them by like rarity, for example, how do I do that?
There is in the top right on the toolbar, you have create a filter, but go with create new filter, but create it only for yourself. And then you can
I can figure it out. Yeah, I found it.
Okay. I literally told you everything right now.
Yeah.
There's nothing more.
And I knew that there was like I just didn't find the button. I knew that there was a thing because you showed me.
Yeah, okay. You stopped me when everything was done. Doesn't matter. Scotty?
Glistening Dawn, 2 green, 4 mana for a sorcery that incubates X twice, where X is the number of lands you control. This card is interesting. This card is really interesting. I think this card is good,
broken?
I don't think it's like you definitely can't look at this as like, hey, 4 mana, make 8/8 worth of power, you know? Like that's not the way this works.
Cast it on 6
Because you
mana.
do have to sort of take off your next turn
You don't.
flipping them. That being said, you know, this is still, I believe, a very strong Magic card.
Scotty,
It
just
scales very well into the late game. If you have 8 mana, obviously, then you just pop this immediately and make 2 8/8s.
think about it like as if it was only a 6-drop. If this was only a 6, if you can only play it on 6, think about it in that way. What would it be?
Like, yeah, if you have it on 6, then that's a 6/6 that just pairs with another 6/6, which is Bustos.
Yeah.
That's actually incredibly good. And then it also just has the added bonus of starting to make creatures on turn 5. In fact, 2 4/4s on 5. Yeah, this card's really, really good. I'm a huge fan of this. It can be there are some draws and there's some game states where this is like too slow and too clunky, but I think in the vast majority of the games this is excellent. This is a B+ for me.
This is kind of busted on turn 4 already, though.
Yeah.
Like, you can just, if you don't have a 4-drop, you just go this on 4 and then you activate both of them next time. And now I have 2 4/4s. It's like, okay, that's not like the best, like you could just play a 4-drop and a 5-drop and might even out a little bit better, but it's still, for one card, that's a lot of value. That like still busted for like one card, kinda. And that's kind of like the worst this is gonna be, I think.
Yeah,
Like,
that's the worst.
You don't have a 4-drop and you're like, okay, like I'll just cast this on 4. And even that's really fucking good. This kind of reminds me of Invoke Danes from Neo, the green Invoke. And I think this card is better because it's so much easier to cast, but Invoke Danes was like really good if you managed to build around it. I don't know. I think this is better than the last card. At least close. Maybe it's. I'm gonna give it the same. I'm gonna give this an A- as well. But I think it might even be a little bit better.
I mean, this card is significantly worse in terms of the developing stages, but it scaled better.
Yeah.
Like taking your turn 4 off is nothing to sneeze at.
Yeah, it's not like I would rather much like the best place to cast this is probably on 6, on 8.
Or 8.
Yeah, but the best place is for 6
7.
probably. But the fact that you can just cast it and then it's like kind of just gets better as the game goes on.
So what do you give it?
A-.
Yeah, I'm on a straight A for this one. Like this kind of breaks the game on turn 6, and you can play it on turn 4, 5. We are not talking about turn 5. 5 is a great time to play it as well. You kind of developed your board probably enough, and then you get 2 5/5s. Maybe can do something else as well. And I mean, a lot of games go to 7+ mana. It's very bad when you need to get to 7+ mana, depending on what you're getting. But most of the time it's kind of bad. But you don't. So 7+, it's where like you really do just break the game completely. So
Oh dang, sorry, no, go ahead.
Straight up A. It's crazy. One of the best cards in the set.
I completely forgot you can attack with them on turn 5.
Yeah, as well.
Yeah.
But
Completely forgot you're just coming in for 8 damage on turn 5.
it's silly. Card.
Dang.
Are you still not on bomb rating, Scotty? By the way, like I know you're making fun
y'all are
of me.
so high. This is very Clunkzillas.
Lala said, "Oh, X twice, not twice X," but that's exactly the same thing.
No, twice X would mean you get an 8/8 on turn 4.
Incubate
Incubate
twice X.
Yeah, then you would get an 8/8 and not 2 4/4.
But it's not 2 times X.
No, Lola. Understand the meaning.
X twice X is the same thing.
Then don't worry about the semantics. Just understand how they misunderstood it.
Okay, next one. I don't know what's going on. Scotty, you're the boss.
I forgot I'm the boss.
You're always the boss.
All right, I'll read just all the cards infinitely.
Yeah.
Oh no,
You just let us read cards sometimes. Thanks.
Okay. Invasion of Ikoria, X green for a battle siege has 6 defense counters. When an invasion of Ikoria enters the battlefield, search your library and or graveyard for a non-human creature card with mana value X or less and put it onto the battlefield. Search your library this way and shuffle. Wait. If you search your library this way, shuffle. Flips into Zilortha, Apex of Ikoria. It's a legendary creature dinosaur. It's an 8/8 with reach. For each non-human creature you control, you may have that creature assign its combat damage as though it weren't blocked. So my perspective on battles is changing as we're talking about them. 6 is a ton, right? 6 is a heavy investment in order
Yeah.
for you to leave yourself back and also not be killing your opponent. 2 mana tutor, I'm not interested in whatsoever. Yeah, sure, the backside's great and all. Like, you know, just attack, kill them. Sure, that's fine. I don't think this card is good.
What do you mean
I
2
don't
mana
think
tutor?
you can run this card. I think this is a D-.
You can put the creature count to the battlefield,
battlefield.
straight away.
Yeah, you put it on the battlefield, Scotty.
Yeah, so you're paying like 4 mana for a 2/2?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, sure. D-.
Okay, I don't think it's that bad. Also, Lola, can you show the backside art? The fucking dinosaur is humongous. It's so large. Like, what the fuck is that? There's no dinosaurs that are that big.
Yeah, there is.
It's so large.
It's Ikoria. Come on.
Oh yeah.
This is our first printing of this. Did you know that this actually is technically on Arena right now? Like this character?
Yes, it's the 7/3, right? It's the
Yeah,
one
so
that
this,
assigns.
this card has a really weird history. If we needed to extend our set review longer, we can explain it.
I love it. I love it. I love it. It's they printed the
go ahead,
alternative
go ahead.
art. They printed the alternative art, but they didn't print the card that it's referencing.
So I believe it was the box topper, and they only printed the Godzilla version of it. So it had its Godzilla name and it had Zilathora or Zilortha underneath it, but they never printed a Zilortha
yeah,
card.
Okay, interesting.
it was the Gruul one, I think. Never mind. Okay, so what do you think?
Anyway, it's huge. It's so massive. Okay, yeah.
That's what Scotty said.
About the back to the card, yeah. I agree. The front side is pretty bad, and 6 defense is a lot. Oh, pretty bad and pretty bad. It's not horrible, but it's pretty bad. I think again in red green I will be interested about this though, because it's still like you kind of, depending on the board scenario, you can use the front side pretty like with a lot of flexibility. Plus the backside. If you ever get into a situation where you can just flip this 6 defense, you can get in for 6, which is not unreasonable to think about. You can just play this for 2 mana. You can even go removal spell, play this for 2 mana if you just think you can flip it. Now, then if you don't think you can just kill this and you want some additional value from this, you can search for some creature and put it on the battlefield. That's really nice. You can. I still think in red green you are really not easily, but not that hard to flip. And the backside is really good. It's the backside kind of just makes your board deal like the power you have on board will all deal damage to face if you so choose. I don't know how many humans there are, but it doesn't really matter even that much. 3 mana 1-drops, yeah. I mean, I don't hate like putting a 1-drop with this at all, because you can kind of build your board up with something like red green, and now you're in a good spot to attack the battles. You go like 2 mana removal into this for 3 mana. You can still get some value. I like this quite a bit.
I was not sure if you like it or not from what you said. I was not sure if you're gonna say I hate it or I like it.
I like it quite a bit, but I like it much more in red green. Like you have to be in a deck that you feel pretty comfortable, you feel pretty comfortable that you're gonna get through 6 defense on this, and I think red green can certainly do that. I'm on like, it is very good if you flip, and it's kind of a very cheap investment. Like you can basically get an 8/8 for 2 mana, kinda. I'm on a B- for this, I think.
You know what?
I don't think it's good in every green deck, but I think especially in red green, I definitely like this in red.
I'm also okay with this, because you are getting a body, no matter what it is, it's overcosted body, really, yeah. But the flip side is like, this is gonna deal 8 damage to their face and everything else. Like, it's very reasonable to just win next turn, if you do flip it. Or win in the long run. But, I mean, just to really win, just attack, face, win. Game over. So I'm on a B- as well. I mean, I can see it going down, but I want a B-. In red green, this is gonna be chef's kiss. I mean, I'm gonna be very happy with this in red green, but I can see it being kind of bad, but still, okay with this.
Okay, I'm gonna go up to C. I think to the specific, very common lines of 5 mana fetch War Historian or 6 mana fetch 4/3 Menace is actually pretty good.
Yeah, fetch 4/3 Menace, or yeah, the 3/3. Yeah, that's not bad. Next up.
Oh yeah, who's the boss?
Invasion of Ixalan. You're the boss.
I downloaded the card image again. Whoops. It's because I have to press Alt to push to talk, but Alt is also what I use to download card images. Whatever.
It's okay.
Invasion. Forgive. 1 green, 2 mana total for battle siege. It has 4 defense counters. When Invasion of Ixalan enters the battlefield, look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may reveal a permanent card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Belligerent Regisaur. It's a creature dinosaur with 4/3 and it's trample. Whenever you cast a spell, Belligerent Regisaur gains indestructible until end of turn. This is interesting. So the front side is acceptable. Your permanent fetch is pretty much anything. It can help you hit your land. It can help you hit your 3rd land drop. It can just grab like a reasonable creature off the top. It can even grab a battle. That's fine. That's like a totally fine card. The backside is also like kind of sort of just fine. I'm kind of fine with the backside. 4 defense is moderate, I would say, for a battle. Like it's really at the breaking point for me where like you have to start attacking it and maybe start connecting it with 2 creatures. So I'm like way less hot in 4 defense than like 3 defense. 3 defense is like super low. Most of them have 4 defense though. That's another point as to why I think the ramping one is actually like super duper strong now. Like I completely 180'd on that. This card is fine. I can't imagine this actually being that bad. The front side is fair. The back side is reasonable, right? So I think overall this is like a C+ for me.
Yeah, I again like this more maybe because I think green-red especially just has can flip this decently easy. But it's like I'm kind of fine paying 2 mana for the front side. I wouldn't play that in my deck, but it's not far off. Like you look at top 5 of your library, which is a lot of cards.
Yeah.
And then you reveal a permanent card. There's like honestly a fine play on turn 2 even. I obviously would prefer to play a 2-drop, but this like kind of applies for any kind of effect that's like this. Like solid front side, and then the back side helps you. It kills your opponent pretty fast because your opponent can never block the card, because when you cast anything it's just indestructible until end of turn. And it's also like incredibly good at flipping other battles.
Yeah.
If you have them. So I actually like the backside. Like I think it is a pretty strong backside. It's really not that fair for like the amount of things you are again getting for 2 mana is a lot if you can flip this. And again, we will have to find out how easy it is to flip these. But from like how the looks of it, I do think green-red has a really good time flipping battles. Because the creature is just like better than everything else if they are attacking battles. Like your opponent can't just compete on the same axis if you attack battles. That's like my feel. Because obviously you need some specific cards to get like curves like that, but still. Honestly, I'm even okay spending a removal spell on this. I obviously wouldn't prefer to do that, but if I need to and I want a 4/3 indestructible, sure. You can also use any instance as protection spells for the backside, kinda. I like this a lot. I'm not sure how good it is outside of green-red though still, but green-white probably can flip battles pretty well. I'll start this as a B.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to B- as a base. 2 mana is such a low investment. If you never flip this, it's okay. It's okay.
I'll go to B+. I'll go to B+.
It's like you're not. You didn't waste a card. You didn't waste too much mana. It's fine. And yeah, the front side is actually really good, I think. Once you finally flip it, it's gonna do a lot of damage, so you get that damage back that you use to clear a battle. It's really good on the blocks as well. You can just put a trick somewhere else that this guy's still gonna be indestructible because it's on cast. And blocking is like you never wanna do it. Even you just play a creature, whatever you play, you're basically always playing something. I'm on a B actually. I'm just on a B and I can see it going up. Sorry, Scotty. Can you move it to a B for me?
That's fine. I've moved up to B- as well.
This is a really nice saga. Like very low investment.
It's actually really good on turn 4 and 5.
Yeah.
I think I am not counting enough the quality of double spelling on those turns. It's very, very easy.
Yeah. And it's also if you like ever flip this, especially flip it early, it's just a ton of value you're getting for 2 mana if you manage to flip.
I do, however, as a blanket statement, say I think that we are generally overrating backsides because I think it's going to be harder to flip than we think.
Could be, yeah.
In general.
Yeah. I don't really love the. I'll go down to a B. I don't necessarily love this outside of green red.
I gotta say one thing.
I have no idea how easy it's gonna be to flip battles outside of green red, but just like green red looks like it can just flip them very well. And red overall kind of looks good at it, and green is kind of. I don't think green alone flips battles that well because it's only War Historian that really is like great at doing that.
I think 4-drop that cannot be blocked with 2 or less is pretty good as well.
That's true. Blue does have really good ways to stop you from flipping battles though. So we'll have to see. It's really hard to.
I think the nice thing about battles is you're rarely gonna be having too many battles in your deck, because I don't think you're gonna have that much access to them. Also in the first like few weeks, battles are gonna be way overdrafted because everybody's gonna want to play with them. So.
Or we underestimate all the battles and we are gonna underdraft them.
Yeah, maybe. No, I think nobody's gonna like not pick battles in the first few weeks. New set, new card type. But yeah, that's about it. Next one.
Invasion of Chandalar. Invasion of Chandalar is 3 green 5 mana for Battle Siege with 4 defense. When Invasion of Chandalar enters the battlefield, return up to 3 target permanent cards from your graveyard to your hand. Transforms into Leyline Surge. Enchantment at the beginning of your upkeep, you may put a permanent card from your hand onto the battlefield. I don't care about flipping this.
Yeah, I never care.
This doesn't have a backside, which is really interesting, and I'm not even like super keen on the front side.
I think I'm not
clunky,
flipping
right?
this.
Like you rarely can cast this on turn 5, not because of the mana, but because of targets, right? Because of the sheer amount of targets that you have.
Opponent does mill you a bit sometimes.
Of the self mill, right? Like if you're just naturally developing the board and milling yourself at the same time, I can see this being like a fine card, but I think on average this is fair to me, so I'm gonna put this at a C.
Okay, I'm much lower on this actually. My thinking is that if I'm playing, let's say I'm playing green black, and I would be interested in this kind of effect, isn't the Soul Salvage just better?
Actually, Soul Salvage is much better.
Yeah.
This is probably a D+.
I would just much rather have Soul Salvage, and then if I'm playing like green blue, where I would also could see wanting this kind of effect, I would just rather draw cards with my Invoke the Minds or whatever the card is called. Now if I don't have something like those and I'm planning to go along, I think this is still okay to play, but it's really slow. You kind of returning 3 permanent cards from your graveyard is really hard to do.
Opponent is gonna mill you sometimes.
Yeah, but when you want to do it, it's really hard to do, because often when you run out of cards, you still have some board presence and you would like to return things, but then you have like 2 creatures in graveyard or something, and it's awkward. Yeah, the backside is upside. It's nice if you manage to have a turn where you can flip it. Sure, you can play your cards for free or some of your cards for free, but I think I'm on a D for this.
I mean, this is the backside being at the beginning of your upkeep hurts it a lot, because if you flip it right away, you're not gonna get that creature back. So like the front side is all I care about, and I'm gonna give it just a straight up D. It's yeah, I think it's better to draw cards, and it's Soul Salvage that mills 3 on instant speed. Yeah, give me that. That's what I want. We might be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. We're wrong. I like these recursive strategies, but feels kind of bad compared to other things you can do in the set on common.
Ozolith, the Shattered Spire, 1 green for a legendary artifact. If 1 or more +1/+1 counters would be put on an artifact or creature you control, that many +1/+1 counters are put on it instead. 1 into green, tap it to put a +1/+1 counter on target artifact or creature you control. Activate only as a sorcery. Has cycling 2. Heck yeah. So turn 4, right? well, you play like a 2-drop, you play a 3-drop. On turn 4, you can drop this, use it immediately if you have green, of course, and just add 2+1/+1 counters on something. And this continues to add +1/+1 counters on things and makes your board incredibly massive after that for an actual relatively low cost. Like, if you want to think about it as if the condition is that you have a creature at all, it adds like a bear's worth of stats every turn, like free bears that you get to throw wherever you want. It's a bear throwing spire. I think this is incredibly good. I think this is very powerful. It can be obviously expensive, but I'm not even that mad about it if I'm on the defensive in order to grow my defenders out of range of their attackers. It's a B+ for me.
Yeah, I like this a lot as well, but I'm not sure if I'm that high. I do kind of want this in my backup deck. Like, I'm not sure if 2-mana artifact, you put 2 counters on something is... It's good, but I'm not sure how great it is. But you do have backup. I would caution a little bit against playing this on turn 2, even if you have a backup creature on turn 3. Like, it might be just better to go 2-drop, 3-drop, and then go this on 4 or something, but it's highly contextual. The fact that this has cycling 2 is quite nice, though. Like, if you are facing a pretty aggressive deck, even like a mid-range deck with a pretty fast start, and you don't have much backup in your hand, you don't probably want to play this, so you can cycle it. Still nice. And if you last need lands or something, you can cycle. Yeah, I guess I'm not the much lower. This is pretty good. I do like this if I have some other backup stuff, because then I'm not priced into just using this as an activation. I'm gonna go B.
I'm gonna go B+. Same as Cory. Incubate, backup, works perfectly. No incubate, no backup? Well, still works pretty well. Pretty damn well. Cycling every card that you probably don't cycle. If it has cycling, that's better for the card. Why not? So yeah, B+. Very nice card. Very nice card. Multiples don't exist. Because it's a legendary.
Pelucranos Reborn. Green, 3-mana total for a legendary creature Hydra. It's a 4/5 with reach, and you can pay 6 and a white for Phyrexian to transform Pelucranos Reborn. Transforms into Pelucranos, Engine of Ruin. It's 6/6 with reach and lifelink. And when Pelucranos, Engine of Ruin, or another non-token Hydra you control dies, create a 3/3 green and white Phyrexian Hydra creature token. Wait, a green and white Phyrexian Hydra creature token with reach, and a green and white Hydra token with lifelink. Okay, so one with reach, one with lifelink, sure. Splits off its 6/6 body into 2/3/3s. This is extremely difficult to cast. So I'm gonna look at it like, what happens if I'm imagining playing this on 6 with like a potential upside of getting lucky? And it's actually not the end of the world.
What if
honestly,
what if you're a little bit unlucky and you can't cast it on 6?
That's true. You could get definitely unlucky and not be able to cast this on turn whatever. And I don't know, maybe you can have some manipulation over that with, like, I don't know, overgrown pests or some sort of invasion of super awesomeness or whatever. Still, I don't think this is bad. I don't think this is that bad, despite its extremely prohibitive mana cost. Because I actually don't mind playing this later on in the game. The flip side is what I'm a lot more interested. Like, the front side is whatever, right? And the flip side is what I'm really interested in. The lifelink and the extra bodies when you flip it. But considering that it's not only that I have to cast it, but then I also have to flip it, that's like a couple relatively large hoops that we're asking to jump through with this card. I think overall this is, for me, going to average out to somewhere between C and C+. I think I'm going to start it as an optimistic C+.
Yeah, it basically flips into Wormcoil Engine. But I'm not really like that interested in Wormcoil Engine. That's extremely hard to cast, and then I need to spend more mana to flip it. I agree. I think it's solid, but I am not expecting this to be anything that special. The problem with triple, like, if you draft this early, it's considerably better because you can actually, like, you can draft the 1/1s that untap lands and so on, and this is much easy to cast.
Or a 3 mana enchantment.
Yeah. later on, this is kind of clunky if you pick it up and you don't have those. But yeah, about triple green, it is kind of like even you're on average casting on 6, yes, but like to me, the fact that you sometimes need to wait until 8 lands doesn't offset or like the fact that you sometimes can cast it with 3 to 4 land doesn't offset the cost that sometimes you need to wait until 7 to 8 mana to cast it. So it's like kind of worse than a 6-drop in my mind with triple green. A decent amount worse actually.
So what's the grade?
C plus, I think. I would be fine giving this a C. Well, obviously the ceiling grade is like an A, but like a ceiling grade in a 2-color deck, where you draft some of the like creatures that fix for you, or like give you multiple green in the 1/1 and the enchantment. In mono green, it's obviously really fucking busted.
I'm okay giving this a ceiling grade, like of an A minus.
I don't want it to go that high because I don't think it's that high in a 2-color deck personally. Okay. I think I think even if this was just like 3 mana that you can't cast on 3 quite, but like decently soon, I don't think it's an A minus. It's just really expensive. It's basically a Wormcoil engine. You have to like jump through a bunch of hoops to do, and I'm not really that much into it. The only place where I would give this an A grade, I think, is mono green.
Okay, that's simple. But I'm
on a C with Scotty actually, but I can give it a ceiling grade of a B or something if that's like.
I'm actually on a B minus. I think it's worth it. Like the backside is pretty crazy. It has to die. It's the only Hydra, just in case if you didn't notice. But the backside is kind of insane, so I'm okay working a little bit towards casting this with 2 of the green commons. So B minus for me.
Tribute to the World Tree. Green, green, green. Again, for an enchantment. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, draw a card if its power is 3 or greater. Otherwise, put 2+1/+1 counters on it. Alright. Let's talk about a fundamental difference between Tribute of the World Tree and Polukranos Reborn. If we're dropping this late, if we're dropping this quite late, right? This card, your hand is mostly empty. So we're talking about maybe the last card in your hand and then cards that you rip off the top, which is like okay for the effect, right? But it's not impacting the board. It's not like, oh, my excess mana, if I draw blank, is now going to transform my stupid Polukranos Reborn. It's like, hey, if I draw a land off the top, I'm like dead. It's like, okay. The sequencing is much more awkward if you don't play this early to take advantage of your creatures. So I'm really not into this. I think this is an acceptable Magic card if you are if you're leaning really heavily towards green and you have ways to generate additional green. I think it's a great point out with the untapping Satyr, and like other various fixings that you have for extra green pips. Then that's fine. But otherwise, I'm not into this. I'm gonna give this a D.
Yeah, I'm gonna give this a straf. I think it's extremely unlikely that you'll get the deck where you should run this if it's not mono. Like if I can't cast this consistently on turn 3 to 5, or even turn 3 to 4, I don't want this card.
I'm on a D. I think some decks are gonna be okay with it. Doesn't work with incubate tokens because they enter.
I actually think this is the worst card in the set we've seen so far.
Okay. It doesn't work with incubate tokens because they come as non-creatures, and then when they flip, they don't enter the battlefield. So that hurts it a little bit, but it's gonna be okay in some decks, but it's gonna be like unplayable in most decks. So I think I'm gonna average it to D or a D minus. I'm kind of okay with starting it as actually D minus. Give it a D minus for me.
I think negate is better than this card.
This doesn't affect the board, which is huge. Even when you finally cast it, you still need to work to make it good. It's really bad card. I don't think it's quite unplayable though.
Vorinclex, 3 green for 5 mana legendary creature, Phyrexian Praetor. It's a 6/6 with trample and reach. When Vorinclex enters the battlefield, Vorinclex enters the battlefield, search your library for up to 2 forest cards, reveal them, and put them into your hand and shuffle. The deck is building itself. The Tribute to the World Tree deck. It helps you fix. Or you can pay 6 green, and exile Vorinclex and return to the battlefield. Transformed when it's under its control. So this doesn't have a condition. It's just the condition is 8 mana. The Grand Evolution is the saga it flips into. Chapter 1, mill 10 cards. Put up to 2 target creature cards from among the milled cards onto the battlefield. That's funny. It's funny that was like almost on a black card. Chapter 2, distribute 7 +1/+1 counters among any number of target creatures you control. And Chapter 3, until end of turn, creatures you control gain 1. This creature fights target creature you don't control. Exile the Grand Evolution, then return it to the battlefield. To Vorinclex. Yeah, so this is a 5-drop. This is a 5-drop that draws 2 cards and gets you 1 land away, even if you have no more lands left in hand, to just flipping it on turn whatever. So even if they kill this immediately, you get value. It's going to be the largest 5-drop pretty much anyone can play, because it's like actually overstated. It has reach, it even defends yourself, has trample, can threaten battles great. I don't really want to talk about this more. I think this is actually an A.
Yeah. The funny thing is, I'm not sure if the milling 10 cards is the downside or upside. Because in Limited, you have 40 cards in your deck. It's not unreasonable that some games go to like when you have about 10 cards left in your library and then you can't flip this because you can't mill them. That doesn't really matter. It's gonna rarely come up, but it will come up sometimes, and then you can't flip it. Just keep that in mind. Yeah, if this didn't give the 2 forests, I would be like A-. It's like very good, but it's like even if your opponent kills this, they do have a decent amount of time to kill this, but even if they kill this, you got chill lands. Like it's still kind of busted. I'm on an A+.
Yeah, this is crazy. A lot of games you can do this, and you're gonna get there. You have 7 mana already. You probably win when you do it, basically every game, so that's huge. And even if this is just always gonna be a creature for some reason, it's a really good creature. So yeah, I'm on an A as well. Actually, I'm gonna give it an A+. Like this is the thing. It's
Thinking about going to A just because of the mill 10 cards. No cap.
I'm okay with an A+. Like this is game ending, and even when it's not, it's crazy good.
Ren Realmbreaker, 1 green for legendary planeswalker Ren. Has 4 starting loyalty. Static ability. Lands you control have tap to add 1 mana of any color. +1. Up to 1 target land you control becomes a 3/3 elemental creature with vigilance, hexproof, and haste into your next turn. It's still a land. -2. Mill 3 cards. You may put a permanent card from among the milled cards into your hand. -7. You get an emblem with you may play lands and cast permanent spells from your graveyard. 3 mana planeswalker is pretty good. It doesn't exactly defend itself on turn 3, the turn it comes down. It can start defending itself on turn 4 and up, right? Because critically, the land doesn't untap, right? You can make a creature, or you can make a land into a creature, but it's not actually going to untap itself to actually block. It is pretty nice starting on turn 4, though. It's kind of sort of interesting because it's not like you are actively snowballing a board advantage by ticking up. So I think this is a pretty interesting card. I don't value the fixing particularly highly. I think that the +1 elemental effect is acceptable. Not great, but the thing here's a marker here. If Ren and Realmbreaker survives, ticks up twice, like stays on the battlefield, hangs out, just jives a little, and then dies, you actually haven't really done much. You know, like the board stuck around for a while, and then Ren's dead. And then if you -2 in mill, that's fine, right? Not getting your exact selection in terms of what you want out of all your graveyard. You have to pick out of the specific cards that were milled is not an incredibly powerful card. I'm happy because this is a 3 mana planeswalker. It's not like super push or snowbally. I think overall this card is fair. And I think it is good. I just don't think it's like busted, you know? So I think for me this is actually between a B and a B+ for me. And I actually think I'm going to start it off as a B.
I'm not sure I even like this card. I'm definitely in the C grade, or possibly D grade. But the problem is that this planeswalker honestly kind of does nothing. it fixes. It makes a 3/3 per turn. It doesn't stick around. Like it protects itself, sure. It attacks for 3, but like, are you more happy playing this on 3 or 4, whatever? Because this is kind of better on 4 because it can instantly protect itself. Are you more happy playing this on 4 or playing your 4-drop on 4? I think you're much happier playing your 4-drop on 4, even if you could protect this. Like, even if it doesn't die. It just doesn't really do much. Sure, you can get some card advantage with the military card. Yes, if you get the 7 loyalty, yeah, that is good. But then your opponent spent 3 mana doing nothing for like 4 turn, or like they spent 3 mana and they didn't really do anything to advance the board state permanently. So if your opponent gets to 7 loyalty with this, that's your fault. Let's be real. That you deserve it if you let your opponent ultimate with this. That's on you.
So what's the grade?
I'm gonna start this as C minus.
I'm actually gonna start as a B minus. It's fine. I mean, maybe even lower, maybe C plus. You can go to -7. I don't think it's super unreasonable, but it does take a long time, like 5 first turn, then 6 second, third. You gotta wait for 4 turns. But you do kind of in the game, but it looks like it's not hard, but it takes such a long time. Opponent can just get a flyer, opponent can do a lot of things to help themselves.
You can tick this up twice and your opponent points a deadly derision at it.
Yeah, that's also true. I'm actually just gonna give it a C plus. I don't think it's anything special, this one. So yeah, just a C plus as a base. It's fine. Not gonna be unhappy having it. I guess it clears battle with these 3/3s. I mean, if they block that and trade, that's nice. Oh, that's it for green.